Light it up.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Dan. Welcome to Multiclass Act, where we're going to continue on our Starfinder game with episode 6 of this week. There's very little in the way of administration to do today. There's no ads, there's no sponsors, there's no theme song yet.
Yes.
Haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, I'll try to something new every time, but we're eventually going to get a theme song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So there's really...
We all have
So
to
much
sing it
fun.
every time.
It has to be a cappella, yeah.
Oh, sold. Immediately sold.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully, maybe never. I don't know. I haven't heard most of these people sing, so we'll have to see. Do any of you have anything you want to mention beyond the Kickstarter that was mentioned before the camera went on?
I
No?
don't think so.
Easy
No.
peasy? Fantastic. Then, let's hop into today's session of sort of Multiclass Act Play Starfinder. Where we last left off, you had arrived at Absalon Station and had gone to speak to a long-lost 47th cousin thrice removed of Doc, named Diamond, owner of Diamond Defense and Surplus. It's here where you encountered some ruffians who might have a connection with a reasonably well-known criminal organization called the Aspis Corporation, or members of the Aspis, and also discovered that Diamond had sold some weaponry to quite possibly a group of sort of android liberationists or robot civil rights activists of sorts who seem possibly tied into something Thurgood has going on, having to go to the planet of Aposte to potentially to interview and see an up-and-comer and how they're doing. It seems as if there's more parties than just Synthetico and Turney Corporation and the Aspis Corporation and whoever these liberators are. It all might end up being a rather interesting party once you arrive. But until you get there, you have about a day or so to kill here on Absalon Station, waiting for the ship to be retrofitted with the changes that you had made, hopefully allowing Nivel to fly properly, using those big giant robot muscles.
Mecha suit. Mecha ship.
Hell yeah.
You did learn a little bit more about the Terraforminate from the members of the data files, but that's sort of stuff we can jump into tonight and discuss some more. Where we're going to pick up today, if no one has any questions about any of that, where we'll pick up today is back in the Lore Spire complex, in that sort of villa that has been provided for you, sort of a notion of your stature being cognifiers and not just normal Starfinders. Here inside the villa, it's reasonably well appointed, as you know, and you've had sort of just even a couple hours to sort of put your impression upon this space, whether it be make it a little bit more austere and sort of minimalist in your case, or fill it with baked goods and well, food for your strange three-eyed lizard to eat. You've had a little bit of time to put some impression on this place that you know is always available to you whenever you arrive at the Lore Spire complex. It's essentially free lodging with plus. You can order food here, you have learned, and you can have sort of services brought to you most often, as far as like doing consults for plans down the road, okay? Where we're going to pick up today is sort of gathering in the morning, one by one as you've woken up after sort of resting and relaxing, having fought in Diamond's Defense and Surplus, and sort of emerging out into the main common room where everybody, with the exception of Nivel, who's wherever you are, not needing...
Broom closet.
Broom closet, just standing quietly against the corner, trying not to make too much noise. But one by one, as you sort of arrive in the sort of main central villa area, I'm actually just going to pass it right off to you guys to sort of describe how you would awaken in this sort of nice, sort of upscale place, having slept in a 300-year-old spaceship for quite some time, or worse. So I'll just sort of point out who wakes up first. Who's an early riser?
I will say that Nivel would probably be the early riser, not having slept in the same way or the same amount. And I'm going to say that she's probably starting to make breakfast as a courtesy, but has no idea how to do it. So it's like scrambled eggs with the shells still in it kind of thing.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check, please.
19.
A 19. So, as you're going through this process of trying to prepare food that you don't need to eat, but you've seen it prepared enough times, you feel as if you're doing a decent enough job, at least through your olfactory sensors. do they exist?
No.
So at least
No sense of smell or taste.
through your eyeballs, it looks like it probably smells right. And
looks right.
thankfully, CV2, who, because he's not here today, will confirm to you that he has smells, that it does smell like it should, in a sort of an early morning bodega sort of sense. It's around this time that he, and we're not going to roleplay it because he's not here, is taking a brief leave of absence here in Absalon Station to go meet the sort of chief monk of the Cosmetary of the Empty Orbit. It's a Solarian type academy here in Absalon Station. It's just on the sort of northeast side of one of the rings, and that's where he'll be for at least all of today. Unless you decide to leave the station, and then he'll show up. But that's because he's not here.
Right.
So with a little clink pat on the back, it lets you know that the food smells like it's probably edible, and heads on out. Crisis 1 averted. So, who wakes up to the smell of reasonably scrambled eggs?
I can imagine that Maku is the first one out of bed as soon as there's the smell of food in the vicinity. So he's like... He's like half asleep and just like smelling his way to the food. Do you make breakfast?
I believe so. You try it and you tell me.
Oh, thank you. And he's just gonna...
Like the whole thing. Done, I guess.
Breakfast.
Does it taste good?
It tastes delicious.
Considering what you eat, I will choose to take that as a compliment.
And he's gonna like take a little piece and be like, do you want it?
So the weird little three-eyed lizard on your shoulder, the main sort of eye seems to be the dominant one. So that's the one that focuses in while the other two are still pointing in different directions, sort of taking in the environment. And as it does, it turns out it doesn't have a particularly long, retractable tongue, as it has to like extend its whole head outwards to just sort of like awkwardly gum it out of your fingers. Yeah, like a turtle with like mushy lips. It's pretty gross.
Does it taste good?
It just simply nods.
Oh, he likes it too.
Oh, good.
I think despite all appearances, I think I am a reasonably early riser. Just kind of mumbling the whole way. And then I think I'm wandering around doing that thing you do if you've like booked like a really nice vacation place and just like going around looking at all the decor. Like, oh, wow.
Open the cupboard.
Yeah. Looking through. Well, I got a lot of stuff to work with here. Is that eggs?
I believe
cracking
so.
over there?
I found it in the fridge, so I assume it's to be eaten.
I believe so. Those are real eggs, though, eh? Not like grape paste or nothing.
I found it in the fridge.
Well, were they round?
Yes.
Oblong, maybe.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Good enough for me. And I'll make a plate.
Yeah, and you can immediately, you have a sort of somewhat distinguished palate, I'm gathering.
Yeah.
Can definitely tell that these are from a sort of species of flightless bird that is native to Verces, a delicacy, to be sure. The kind of thing you would not find on a spaceship unless you paid an arm and a leg to get on it.
Wow. Big ticket stuff. I think they like us. Wow. Where's Doc?
Look it up. I'm up. I'm stumbling out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over, I'm gonna sniff breakfast and just shake my head and just say that's too fresh. And I'm gonna head over to the pay station.
Yeah, so the pay station in a villa such as this is like one of those hidden from sight sort of things, kind of like the washer and dryer behind the closet door. You had to open a little hatch and you find a little spigot
Perfect.
that pumps out your delectable number 87 or whatever your favorite is today.
I'm gonna even sniff that and be like, that's even a little fresh. That's new.
Just sit it out for an
Yeah.
hour.
Put it
and,
up before you go to
get a mug of coffee of some kind as well. Big one, a big one from compared to how big I am.
Sure. Yeah, novelty size coffee cup.
like his size of coffee. I'm sitting down with that and just kind of holding onto it like that.
It warms up your whole body.
Yeah,
That actually
and
sounds
just-
kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sitting with it, and I'm just kind of like face first.
Okay.
Maku's kind of like on his chair.
So everybody's sort of just in this awkward moment of not quite waking up.
I will have wandered in then, but I've been awake for a while, so
Sure.
I'm very alert. I've been awake in my room, just kind of like
Yeah.
getting ready for my day, probably doing some like exercise, keeping myself fit, and just pass the food straight to the coffee.
I'm picturing that moment when you're at someone else's house and you wake up and you're like, I don't think anyone else is up yet. Should I get up? Like, would it be rude if I made coffee right now?
And then you find that really squeaky floorboard.
Back to the room.
So having all gathered, having either started your day hours ago not having stopped your previous day or leaving in the case of CV2, what are your guys' plans for today? You know and expect that your ship should be done at Puddles probably today. That's what you were more or less told, but you still have a little bit of time to kill before you can prepare to head out to sort of lands beyond. So what do you guys want to do?
So what are our plans today? I follow plans. I don't make plans.
I'm still very hungry.
I'm
I
sure
think
there's
that's a
more
constant state of being for you, isn't it?
I could always eat, but I'm not always very hungry.
Oh, okay.
Rest assured that can be solved here, elsewhere. There's a lot of food here. Don't worry about that.
I
Right?
also need to get some food from my new friend because I don't think we have any on the ship.
Right. What is that? What is it? Its name? Their name?
I've been thinking about it. I kind of want to name him Frankie.
Frankie.
Yeah.
Hi, Frankie.
And when you say the name Frankie, all three eyes sort of look over towards you,
Do you like Frankie?
and then they sort of individually begin to just pace out in different directions. Is a non-committal answer, but it didn't bite you, so maybe.
I think he likes Frankie.
Frankie. Okay.
What does
Hi,
Frankie
Frank.
eat?
He ate eggs this morning.
Does he eat paste?
Just make sure he doesn't get an expensive palate here, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
We can't, feed him forever. Or, well, can't feed him fancy things forever. Sorry. Hey, he might be eating,
Paste.
yeah.
Probably paste.
Probably paste.
Maku, nothing is forever. Impermanence.
CV2 and Nival are kind of forever.
Yeah, maybe.
But anything organic is not unless we change it a lot. I can change them a lot.
Maku, think of all the
But
cool...
we can feed him while he's still alive.
Absolutely. It's just a question of what we'll have available.
Like,
Hey, hey, it's fine. He's fine.
If you can get him used to paste, though, it'll probably be the easiest on our journeys.
That is
way we don't
probably
need
true.
to worry about stocking up as much.
It's around this time that Frankie pops off of your shoulder, sort of like jumps almost. And when he does, you hear a faint little as it opens up its four legs, and much like a flying squirrel, a little flap appears along its side, and it just sort of like drifts across until it, unfortunately, bonks into the counter a little bit low, but then sticks to the side, crawls on up, and heads over to the extraordinarily hot pan of eggs that you currently have on the go, and it sort of moves over and starts to skitter around as if it's trying to find a way to get to the food, but clearly understands it's too hot.
Yeah.
It likes whatever you're cooking.
Yep.
It's trying to get some more.
I'll scoop him up and give him just ruthlessly just grab a handful of eggs and put them down on the counter and put the eggs there and put little Georgie or Charlie, sorry, down
you
next to him
don't
for
eat
as a
him.
friend.
He is not bug
I
food.
Don't.
No, I don't. I'm trying not to get him to eat your friend.
I don't believe he'd be able to eat him.
You look down and you see that Charlie's rear end is sticking out of the mouth of Frankie. The little legs are going back and forth, and it spits him right back out again. And the two of them are sort
See,
of...
they're friends.
They're both jostling over a pile of loose eggs. One of them won't eat it. The other one will eventually eat all of it. But they're carrying on as two beloved little pets.
I didn't know he could do that. That was really cool.
Neither did I.
They will keep each other company.
So in terms of the, bigger fish to fry, do we feel ready to go to Aposte as soon as our ship's kitted out? I do, but
I think so.
I don't know if
Did we want to find out some more about these places that were on the list?
Yeah, that's right. You nerds wanted to hit the books. That's fine.
Can I give Thurgood like a quiet high five?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, nerds.
Nerds,
Let's
yeah.
beat them up
Right.
later.
Right. So what is the library?
Right.
Nerds.
Somewhere around here, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's called Lore Spire Complex or something like that. I'm not smart, but I figure that means there's books here. Servers, too. Saw a lot of those yesterday. Okay. A little bit of research sounds good. I think we're kitted out whether we're going to be, gunning down corpos or android freedom fighters. No offense. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Apostate. Gonna be honest, I got a bit of wanderlust right now. Like, it's nice to relax, but I think I'm kind of gunning to keep moving
It's
soon.
always good to keep moving.
Definitely. joints will go bad, stuff like that.
Plus, it gets very boring if you stay in the same place all the time.
Does. Yeah. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna chill here, you know. Move me if you have to, but I'll be here.
Actually, while they're going to the library, I wouldn't mind if you went with me, Thurgood.
Yeah?
I'm thinking of maybe asking around a bit about Toko and when and how it came back, which usually means someplace sketchy.
Yeah. That actually does sound interesting. Yeah, if you need a backup or, I mean, I know a little bit about, you know, corporate structure and stuff. It's not really my job to know that, but, you know, you hear things.
It also helps you if that's where we're going next for your interview.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
shit,
I have to go in with questions. I've never done an interview before. I've always sort of been in control of the situation. Well, that's not true either.
You've received interviews.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, they always ask stupid questions, I find. So, you know, maybe I'll try to put something a little more stimulating together, and maybe we can ask, you know, particularly biting questions if there's questions you want answered. Yeah. All right. Good point. That's a goal for today. Figure out interview.
Do we need to get some fancy clothes?
I kind of have an iconic rumpled look. But maybe.
It's curated.
This is the only clothes I own.
Should I get the bow tie?
Are you coming with us? Or are you going to the library?
Or do you need some help with the library? I'm very good at reading.
Dividing and conquering might help. We've got a bit of a list here.
Okay. Will you guys get me a bow tie?
Yeah, what color?
Oh, any color. Oh, what color? Oh, whichever one stands out to you the most, that looks the prettiest.
Get one to match your jacket.
Oh,
What color is your jacket?
it's purple.
Thank you. Purple bow tie.
Purple bow tie.
Purple bow tie. Okay.
Maku,
Yes.
can I scan your little lizard?
Oh, shit.
Yeah?
Okay.
Just don't hurt him.
No, I won't.
Okay.
I won't.
Yeah, sure. Can you tell me what you learned about them? I've never seen one of those before. I would kind of like to know what he eats other than eggs.
I don't know if I can find that out, but I think that's trial and error. But yeah, I
Will
want
you
to
find
I
out
want to
what-
give him a quick scan.
Will you be able to tell what he is by scanning him?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, does that mean we get to come up with a cool name for his species?
I already did. right this moment. So if you want to go ahead and spend some time sort of looking through, or we can do that during the day.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we got going to hopefully find some sort of ne'er-do-wells and do some research, go to Northspire Complex,
Yeah.
do some research on a lizard.
Yep, I'm gonna go with them to the.
Okay,
Yep.
CV2 is off doing his own monastery Solarian things, and you're
Religious
going
I'm
research.
going to
all
go to
of
the
it.
library too.
the library. Okay, so we can start dividing and conquering then, if that's okay. So as you all sort of finish your eggs for the day, you bring Frankie with you. He didn't eat Charlie, thankfully. Didn't eat Charlie, just a nibble. The two sort of groups begin to parse out into Absalon Station. Now, 3 of you aren't going very far. You're just going to Lorespire Complex. It's only a few minutes walk away, and as you do, you start to notice that word has already begun to pass through the Starfinder Society in just the day that you've been elevated to cognifiers. Because as the whole group of you is sort of walking through, the 2 of you getting ready to leave the grounds, you're noticing that pretty much every member of the Starfinder Society looks at you with a little bit of reverence already. Not to the point of sort of getting out of the way hurriedly, but a little nod, a little bit of a acknowledgement as you pass by is already starting to happen. It doesn't take too long for both Nivel and Thurgood to make your way out of Lorespire Complex proper and start to ask around for a place to potentially sort of find someone who might know about Tuco. Could I have one of the 2 of you please give me an investigation check? Does that exist in this game?
No.
It's a
Probably not.
perception check.
I can do
Every
that.
time.
I can do perception. Was Zubax, was that the guy that was trying to run into the portal before? Was kind of a sketchy dude?
That was like the leader of,
Okay,
of
that would
the-
be-
of that gang or group.
My friend?
Yeah.
14.
14. So, just sort of asking around, you find two sort of options. One is nearer than farther. It's called the Burnt Goat. And it's actually sort of nearby to the Lower Spire complex. Now, you've heard that it is sort of a little on the upscale side of things, but is a known sort of potential place for criminal activity to occur. The second place you learn about is called the Nest, which is inside the little Akaton, which is named after another planet in the Pack Worlds, which is known for being a sort of scavenger's den of a pub. Here, you've definitely been told from some of the sort of beggars or passerbys that you've spoken to that this is a place you keep your hands on your pockets at all times, but it could also be a better spot to find sort of people who might know these sorts of things. Alternatively, you could go speak to Zubax, the ganger, and see if he knows anything, aside from how to get past the sphinxes and jump and touch the portal. A one-way trip, it seems. So I'll pass it off to two of you.
Any inclinations?
Scavengers or... What was that about the burnt goat? What's the crowd there?
It seems like a more posh but still criminal, which to me sounds like Aposte and Toko.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
Burnt goat then.
Okay.
I'm gonna only take my clothes with me, basically. I'm gonna try to drop all valuables, including the drone and the watch. And go armed.
True.
With the right to bear arms, but
yeah.
And you're bringing your sword with you?
Yeah, not the armor's still back at the villa, but yeah, the sword's with her.
Here's the question though, Nival. Like this is important to you, right? Or at least has bearing on who you were. It was a long time ago, but I don't know. You want to disguise yourself such as you can?
I mean, that may take more time than...
That's true.
Like, clink, clink. That might take more time than what we currently have.
That's true. I mean...
but everyone who knew me should be dead.
I wish it was that easy. Yeah, well, we're two, reasonably recognizable faces. Me, perhaps more than you. But, we'll be careful, eh? Yeah. You want to do the talking?
It is.
Do you want to do the talking or me?
I believe both of us will probably struggle here, but one of us can start, and when they fail, the other one can also fail.
That's true. We'll trade looking intimidating. We both, cut some interesting silhouettes.
Kind of like the bad cop
Yeah.
situation.
Awkward bad cop, and even more awkward bad cop.
Yeah. All right.
So heading off to the Burnt Goat.
Yep.
Okay, so as the two of you are beginning to stroll through the streets of Absalon Station, heading towards the Burnt Goat, I will let you know that at some point, Thurgood, something catches your eye in just the wrong way as you're sort of going down one of the more sort of quiet, reserved, and unoccupied streets, and clearly untended to streets that you need to navigate to get to this sort of establishment. You unfortunately, with a squelch, step in a pretty disgusting pile of essentially slime. And there is a moment when you sort of check the bottom of your foot that it smells almost familiar. It definitely came from a Bantrid, for sure. The same kind of slime trail that Tash led behind in the ship all those days ago. But it's definitely distinct, sort of, like stepping on really moist gum.
Yeah.
Does it seem... So it's just kind of in an off-the-beaten path area.
Yeah.
Is there like a trail leading from A to B?
There definitely is, heading down one of the smaller alleys that you would struggle to fit in. Not you couldn't, but you would struggle to fit in. Yeah. It either came from or went through the alley. It's really hard to tell. But yeah, definitally. It seems as if there was a Bantrid nearby and recently, and possibly stressed out.
I point this out to Nibel. Check this shit out.
Surely not.
Surely not. Well, here's the thing. I'll take a little bit for Doc.
I'm so disappointed I didn't go.
Just, I don't know. I mean, we're already on our guard, but just, keep an eye out, eh?
It's going a different direction than we currently are, correct?
It's like trying to tell which way a paintbrush was stroked.
Yeah.
It was going in both directions and down an alleyway, which you're not...
That's so gross.
Right? That you're not intended,
that
you're not planning on going down. You'd have to go out of your way to go follow this if you wanted to.
I mean, it is a common station, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Don't want to
Well,
make
this
any
would be-
assumptions.
A very fun afternoon.
There's no other signs of like distress or like upset carts or anything.
Nope.
It's just the slime.
Just this little slime trail, yeah. And it's just, you have giant bare feet.
How fresh is it?
Reasonably, it looks like. Neither one of you are biologists, so it's
Right,
really
yeah,
hard to
yeah.
tell.
Was it still warm?
I don't think it was ever warm, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it probably has the same like consistency of like mashed potatoes, maybe.
Hasn't crusted
that
over
is
yet.
Yeah.
That is foul. All right, Nival, I'm getting sick.
Way
We're getting
worse.
out of here.
I'm curious to see if maybe we spook someone who was shocked to find us too.
Son of a... maybe. Maybe.
Anyway, I don't think we're in danger, to be fair.
No, we'll be fine. But yeah, I will take some for Doc. Like, I don't know, get like a little like.
Yep.
I have like no. I feel like Thurgood maybe has like a like handkerchief or something.
Sure. Yeah. And you're gonna know no matter what, it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Smell it the whole time.
You always know. So,
With me.
a little bit of goo in tow, you head off towards the burnt goat, just a couple of more sort of blocks away. As soon as you get to the establishment, from the outside, it looks reasonably almost like a gastropub. You can see that there is like a neon flashing sign that looks like a goat, and every now and then it alternates between a goat with a big giant smile on its face and then one with X's on its eyes and flames on its back, as
Nice.
well, signifying the burnt goat.
Yeah.
You can immediately smell the distinct sort of like charcoal burn pit that's inside somewhere, where they're making actual meat and actual food. It seems Absalom Station's a place of not quite a plenty, but real food. And when you stride on in, you can see that it's reasonably packed, even this early-ish hour in the morning. We're talking pre-noon sometime. It looks like the sort of brunch crew of hipsters has already arrived and are sitting around small, sort of almost like Korean barbecue style grills in the center that food is brought and you sort of cook it yourself and away you go. At the bar, or sort of at the main station, a young-looking half-elf spies out at the two of you and just sort of waves to the two of you to come on over. And as you get closer, you can see that he has sort of pretty close cropped hair that is almost sort of curly in some weird spots, but not too sort of poofy, to say the least. It's a deep, rich, sort of almond brown that sort of accentuates the color of his skin, sort of signifying that he's probably from Verces, one of the neighboring planets in the Pact Worlds. And as the two of you sort of approach, he sticks his hands out to you, Thurgood, to sort of give you a nice, gentle greeting.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Burnt Goat. I can be your sort of maitre d'. Topsana is my name,
You got it.
and it is an absolute pleasure to make both of your acquaintance.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Thurgood
I know who you are.
Vale. And this is my pal, who I'm sure will introduce themselves.
I'm very chivalrous of you. Topsana, I am not one for subtlety. As you can see, I'm here to potentially place bets. Do you have a special area, hidden bar, that we can do this at, or shall we move on?
Win or lose, I would like some ribs. I will say, just before it, things go any further, ribs, por favor.
Yeah, certainly, yes. We can provide you delicious rack of ribs,
Thank
and you are astute. There is a back room. It comes with some caveats, however. That, and it points at the sword that's across your back or in your hand, that has to stay out here.
Just like put it out and drop it in their hands.
Great big sort of, yeah, and it nearly drops it. It clanks off the bar, and it definitely garners a few sort of turned eyes to see it. But he takes the sword, which is pretty big for him, jeez, and sort of puts it into coat check, essentially, that they have behind the bar, which, getting a quick glimpse at it, you can see there are dozens of other weapons here as well. So there might be a somewhat packed room behind. With weapon stowed away, it looks at you. Keep them in your own hands.
You got it.
And I see you've come prepared already. Please, follow me. He turns in place, heads backwards, leading you through the kitchen, essentially, of this place, which is the greasiest of greasy spoons. You can definitely tell. So many health and safety standards are not being achieved here. We're frozen.
Oh no.
Bottom's frozen, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm caught in limbo.
Classic bottom frozen.
Classic bottom frozen. Well, we can keep talking about the crappy food service. Well, this thing thinks. Quick break, everybody.
Can you make one of your buttons on your thing a refresh for the camera button?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, that would have been so cool. Just frozen.
Can we set up the chat commands to be the refresh button for people?
That'd be fantastic.
That would be the best. It would
That
just
would
constantly
be-
be blinking at people.
Oh, everyone's moving again.
There we go. So as you're led through, let me get my thing back up here. As you're led through the sort of kitchen area, you can tell that, again, health and safety, not at all a paramount concern. You can see the ribs that you were asking for, that you were smelling, are in fact just synthetical-grade nutrient paste being pumped. They're essentially being like pipetted, like icing sugar almost, into a mold that looks like ribs. And as you're sort of walking by, it's just in time to see one of the human workers in this establishment sort of throwing handfuls of seasoning on it just to make it red and look and smell kind of like ribs. And when he sees the two you walk by, he sort of like tries to cover it a little bit. As if he can make the change, the poor guy. Yeah, the best thing ever. But just Tapsana leads you into sort of the rear of house, into the storeroom. And it's here where there's as you're maybe learning, a somewhat ubiquitous hatch in the back storeroom that leads you into a deeper, darker area. It's here where you're greeted by the sort of bouncer extraordinaire, it would seem. A very large Vesk with distinct yellow scales. Like, I'm talking reflective vest, caution wet floor sign, yellow scales. With a shock of red going down the center of his head, sort of starting at the bridge of the nose and heading on backwards. You can see that he's clearly armed. He's got a laser pistol on one side and a pretty large truncheon on the other, which you recognize with the press of a button could have extendable spikes if he needs to get more serious. He looks at Tapsana and you, and with a sort of conversationless passing, gives you both a curt nod as you're led inside. Immediately, the burnt goat turns into almost like a nightclub, despite the fact that it's 11 in the morning. Sort of the door parcels open, you're hit by sort of thumping bass music and flashing, shining lights, and you can see that on one of the rear walls, or the main rear wall, there is a plethora of monitors and screens, all of which are just streaming various sporting events from all over the multiverse. Some of it may be happening here in Absalon Station. You recognize some sort of like electronics gaming sort of, we'll say Super Smash Siblings 17,000 being played on one of the main monitors, as that seems to be one of the draws. But you can see that there's sort of interviews happening on some screens where they're talking to athletes or racers. It's a sports bar to the 9th degree. Immediately, Tapsana sort of ushers you over towards a small booth, and sitting behind it, or sitting in the booth, nestled in the rear, I'm sorry you're not here, there is a Skittermander who's sitting in the rear corner, who's sitting feet up with sort of two sets of arms behind their head and the other one sort of fiddling around on a phone as they're not even looking up to see you. As Tapsana leads you up to the group of them, or to the Skittermander, he sort of almost gingerly calls down to him at the back of the booth. Dieter, there is some potential business associates, I think, here who wish to partake in what you do here. I'll leave them to you, and there's ribs on the house, Dieter, coming down. Well, it's not on the house, it's on him. But I'll leave the two of you to hit. Dieter, please, no bloodshed. And he looks at the two of you as if extending the same, not warning, but same plea. No bloodshed. And turns and makes himself scarce pretty quickly. The two of you are looking down at this Skittermander, who has a pretty distinctive blue coloration, almost like cotton candy blue. This bright color, okay? They are, unlike Maku, wearing clothes. They're wearing essentially the same sort of familiar things that you wear, Thurgood. Sort of business casual, if not more properly tailored, and possibly better kept care of. But as they look up at the two of you, they put their phone down with a pretty satisfying clunk on the table, keeping their feet up, look up at the two of you. Well, if you're going to sit, you're going to sit. We're doing business.
Sure. I take the closest, largest available seat.
Just sort of wedge in. You taking a seat?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sit.
So as the two of you sit, you came down here for one reason and one reason only. You've done some asking, and you found out the burnt goat's the place to go when you want to make a little bit of creds. What's your flavor? He points at the wall, and you can see there's all sorts of things. And as he points at it, you can see, at least if you're reasonably perceptive, that with his other hand, he's produced essentially like an omni-mote sort of thing. And as he's pointing at the TVs, he's clicking with his fingers. Do you want racing? They all change to racing. You hear a bit of a groan. Or do you want animal rearing? And you see it's like a dog show, not that kind of rearing.
Competitive breeding.
How do you think that Frankie appeared? How do you think Frankie came to be?
No.
But you can see it's like essentially a dog show
Yeah.
of sorts with these crazy, ridiculous different animals. Do you like just extreme sports? And as he clicks it, sort of one of the big screens pop up, and given our earlier discussion, it's essentially someone like free diving or trying to skydive, but trying to pass through progressively smaller holes and pull their chute when they want to. And just as he flips it, the poor unfortunate soul, in this case, misses the side of the hole and splats. And there's a collective groan in the crowd, and you watch as on a ticker board on the side, which you're now noticing, the odds have drastically changed for somebody else. And people are hurriedly on their phones starting to go through some sort of app to sort of make bets of some kind, one you're not privy to. If you want in on any of this, it'll cost you.
Yeah, well, we're planning on making a bet for this one. I'm a rather big fan, as you can see.
A huge fan. They just recently come back.
Come back? They were here before?
Well, not here before. They may come back into the limelight, come back into the betting world. We're just starting to take bets soon.
Oh, I didn't realize that they had existed before. I thought they were a new startup.
No, it seems as if it's the same old story, just had a bit of a layaway.
A layaway. So they were an organization that was around and shut down? When were they around?
Oh, geez. Before my time, to say the least, but they've been back in operation for the better part of a couple of years now.
They fixed whatever shut them down?
They must have.
Yeah.
People are scrambling, hand over fist to give us money. Haven't even started the fights yet.
Oh, this is the first fight?
Going to be the inaugural.
Ah, I see. That's what I wanted to get involved in. What are the bets like?
Well, it really depends on who you want to bet on. Everyone... Yeah?
Oh, I was just going to ask about the lineup. Seems like you're getting to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, everyone's all abuzz about this new up-and-comer named Blue.
Blue. Oh.
Yeah, it's a more new bot. It's not even a robot. I don't think. The buzz is that it seems to be an actual android entering for the first time. Something that, at least from my understanding, historically has never happened. But then some of the old glory dogs are returning. There's one named Gold Digger. It's coming on back. Gemini Twins. I don't know if you've heard of that one. Burning Hammer. There's some wizardy one.
Oh, yeah.
And then you must be a huge fan of Nival.
Yes, I can say that I am.
Well, they're the going champion. Have been, at least when the thing started back up again, they were past all the roster, slated to be number one, holding on to the championship from 70 years ago.
Got you. And they're the one that's headlining with Blue?
If Blue wins all their matches, absolutely. I doubt that Niva will even arrive on a past day. Too cool for that.
It's like...
Forgive my ignorance. What's Nival's deal? What are they known for?
They have sort of basically a built-in cryo weaponry built right into their hands and arms. Pretty fancy stuff. Most bots don't even cross the gap before they get frozen to the ground. Yeah, it's pretty slick stuff, at least in some of the training videos they've put out.
They've put out training videos?
Absolutely.
Isn't this supposed to be down wink wink? I just can't wink blink blink on the down low.
Where do you think you are, if not the down low, right now?
Can I see this training video?
Absolutely. We can get you into the app, into the betting app, of course. It's not going to be free.
Yeah, no,
Though.
Of course.
You keep the ribs coming whenever they bloody arrive, as well as 50 credits apiece.
Easy. I'd instantly hand him a cred chip.
I'll give him 100.
Ooh. So, with the sort of two-factor authentication, phone-on-tablet sort of technology that exists, essentially the app is pushed to both of your devices that you carry. And you can easily enough join in to what's called the Golden Yield, is the name of this application that you joined into. That will allow you to essentially place bets, watch training videos, and get a little bit to know of the current roster of the Turney Corporation that is planning on restarting up in its glorious comeback into the illicit underworld of robot fighting. Dieter, once you have the app, sort of gives you a brief walkthrough on how to use it. Now that you've given you the golden yield, you've of course got to start paying me. Start placing bets already. Something on the screens right now, you don't leave the burnt goat unless you've lost some money. It's sort of tradition.
Yeah. We got it. I mean, how pointed is that? Is that like, do this right now?
What's the name of that skill? 1 second.
Sense motive?
Yeah, sense motive. Give me a sense motive check, thank you.
Boy.
I want to say insight, but again, wrong game.
13.
A 13. It's more playful
More playful.
than anything. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's actually threatening you.
No.
He understands that you're a big giant bear, you're a big giant robot. He's just a wee little skittermander with a phone, so it's more playful.
Sure. Yeah, I'll probably look into some of the, shooting sports, stuff like that, marksmanship, maybe a little later, but I wanted to give my friend, plenty of time to ask their questions, and, it's comfy here, and I got ribs on the way.
And as you say, you can see them coming around the corner, 2 plates of ribs that are being provided. Mark off 2 credits, please.
Yep.
As they're
1 credit ribs.
1 credit apiece, oh yeah. As the 2 plates are put down in front of you and Dieter, who immediately takes a great big sniff and then drops all sense of decorum, much like Maku. 2 hands, grabs the entire thing of ribs and just sucks out all the rib bones in just a matter of moments.
The rib bones. The hardened goop.
Yeah, the hardened goop.
Harder than normal goop.
Well, damn.
So, I know you don't usually, I'm sure, play favorites, so to speak, but do you have any other details on Toko that could perhaps help with a few bets?
And just that they've been doing a real strong marketing push, trying to get bets going, especially with this upcoming sort of preliminary stuff going on in Aposte. It seems, from what I'm gathering, not so much true matches as a sort of training camp, testing camp, a show of skill, as it were. And from my understanding, Attorney Corporation used to occasionally get in pretty rough fights even when they weren't fighting. So I imagine this will be a show no matter what. I know that Blue's going to be there. That's the one everyone's really pushing for. The first android to ever join, at least so the rumors go. And I'd be very surprised if anyone of real note showed up. It's sort of a quieter event. But Blue will be there.
I don't suppose you'd have any. We're thinking of going to see it in person.
In person?
Yeah, being a new...
Well,
new
you'd
venture
fit
and
in as a
everything.
fan.
I know, right?
Obviously.
I'm super hyped about this organization. I don't suppose you have any contacts there that might be able to elbow, wink, wink, give us an in?
Give me a social check of some kind.
A social check of some kind.
I'm picturing these winks like when you turn your blinker on. Like,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
It makes like the ticking sound.
Yeah.
I don't see the friendship roll here.
Yeah. Diplomacy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
diplomacy.
yeah.
Or intimidate, I suppose.
Roll an entire Maku
18.
for friendship.
Roll Maku.
And that was a straight roll, so.
Yeah.
He
That's a nice
lands
18.
on his back. Ah, we're friends. If he lands on his face, then maybe not.
Channel my inner
It's like my
Maku.
puppy. Roll it. If she comes up face up, she's happy.
It's got to get the name of the place right. Yep. You guys were reasonably upfront. You seem like a super fan, and I kind of already know who you are. So, you know what? I'll do you a solid. Huh? Find out Arya. She can be found in the Bleak Lands. It's on apostate. There's a couple of, how do I put this lightly, chop shops that can be found in the mountains of the Bleak Lands. I understand that if anyone would have any connections with Turney Corporation, it'd be someone as technically minded as Arya. Start there.
I wonder if she could give me any sweet mods.
If anything, they could paint you a different color.
True. I like my color.
At the very least.
Thank you. No, this has been absolutely delightful.
Of course, help yourself any booth you want. Keep the ribs on coming as long as you're here. If I keep seeing your glorious fur, I keep expecting ribs.
You got it.
Again, reasonably playfully.
Yeah.
And sort of motions for you to leave him alone as he picks up his device and starts to putter around on whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Where are you two going to go?
Just like three booths over.
Yeah, basically try to find somewhere reasonably private. Are there like little like private booth screens that you can?
Yeah, there
key
are
into?
for sure. Yep, they're little like sort of quieter areas that have partitions around the sides, so you could absolutely have quiet conversation for sure.
I'm sure it's not bugged at all.
Yeah.
Not to mention the sort of booming music in the distance is
Yeah.
enough to obscure most conversation.
Yeah.
Well, Thurgood is going to at least for cover, at least flip through and try to find some kind of marksmanship competitions.
Yeah, certainly. So there's a little like screen essentially in the table that you can navigate to, and what you do find is actually coming from apostate. It seems to be essentially a marksmanship sort of course, but you definitely pretty quickly get the impression that each time you miss a target, you have to get closer to the targets, increasing the odds of someone behind you missing.
Yep.
It definitely gets the impression that this is a winner takes all sort of situation.
Yeah.
And you can see there's a line of 10 sort of, we'll call them marksmen, who are in various states of proximity to the targets, some of whom are looking over their shoulders before each shot, making sure they don't get clipped on the side. So you're at least watching that to keep up appearances.
Yep. Wow.
And flipping through this app, does it have like a complete list of roster?
It does not, but it does have people who are slated to be on apostate for this sort of meet and greet training camp.
Yeah.
Blue is to be one of them. Gold Digger is one I don't think you've heard of.
Nope.
And Gemini Twins. These are a couple
Those are the three that are going to be there?
Those are the three who are confirmed to be there, for sure, showing off their goods. And you can pretty quickly sort of look through, very briefly, each of them. A Gold Digger appears to be a sort of repurposed mining robot, very clearly, who has only been repurposed in the sense that they have the letters Toko stamped onto the front of them, and are essentially just a mining robot. They're not, you can tell just by looking at them, they don't have a chance of really making it. The second is Gemini Twins, which looking at them actually looks kind of like a quadrupedal, almost horse-like entity, kind of like the big dog from Boston Dynamics. You know what I'm talking about? And you can... Yeah, I love them. You can also see during the sort of training montage video that you're flipping through, they can actually separate into 4 individual sort of hopping pogo stick-like robots that can move about. How that is in any way beneficial to them remains to be seen. And finally, Blue, the last one, actually looks surprisingly at first glance like you.
Yeah.
They have a clear as day helmet that looks kind of like the wide brim hat that you have. They're carrying a pretty decent sized sword, but they are distinctly an android and have sort of colorations and have chosen to look almost blue and white, a color scheme very reminiscent of yourself. And in one of the videos you're watching, they're going on and on about how much they cannot wait to be like the champion Nival. They're a huge fan and have been for a very long time. Far longer than since they were a kid. They've been huge fans. Kid in aggressive air text. Since they were a young android. In fact, Blue very much wants to be like one of the greats from an era past.
Okay. And they said that Nival was in the training montage?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
The current champion is not.
Okay. Interesting. Just like slow shrug, like,
I mean, that was a hell of a lot more fruitful than I thought it was going to be.
yes, I wish there was more information about, I guess, between then and now, but it's...
I mean, this is a good end. You know, there's a hell of a lot of information in here. I'm going to be moseying through it pointing to the app, basically. Yeah. I don't think we can finish this conversation here, though.
I agree.
This is cool, though. Look at that. And look at that.
As you pointed, there's one guy who's like aiming. The camera zoomed in just as he's about to take the shot. Even the narrator's like, and here we see about to take his final shot. It just blows up from the rear as someone behind him.
Is the narration like golf?
Yes.
Everyone just soft clap.
Yeah.
It is now.
Charles has exploded quietly on the green.
Excellent shot.
Yeah. Well, damn. All right. I'm gonna.
Yet again, let's have a conversation later.
Yeah.
Not now.
To keep up appearances, I am gonna bet on whoever I perceive to be like.
Certainly, roll me a d10.
Oh boy.
And how much are you putting down?
75.
75k.
7.
7. So, looking at sort of the spread of people who were trying to take their shot, I have some bad news for you. Thorogood. Your horse did not win.
Okay.
So as you're sort of at the last moment getting to the final 4, all your money is on that little sort of little halfling figure who's using his long scoped rifle. Unfortunately, has found themselves far too close. And the clear and obvious winner is actually an android who's basically using almost like a primitive looking weapon, it seems like, but hitting the target nonetheless as they put a solid shot through the back of this halfling that you've bet on, dropping him to the ground. 75 down the drain.
That's fine.
Yeah, Nivel's just obsessively looking over the same information over and over again as though she's trying to suss more out of it.
Sure.
I'll pay the rest of my rib tab. We'll say
Rib tab.
three more racks of ribs.
Okay.
And so
Racks of ribs.
Racks of
so
ribs.
as you guys finish those, or reading through that information and betting on the poor deceased halfling, where do you want to head, having spent the better part of a couple hours now sort of moving about and talking, chatting?
can head back to
See if the nerds are done.
from whence we came. On the way back, I do want to buy a purple bow tie. Or Maku.
Certainly, go ahead and please give me a that one's not a skill anymore. Diplomacy check, please. 11. So you find one for a single credit. Unfortunately, it seems it's one of those like reversible ones that can either be purple or red, but because of the function of bow ties, it's sometimes both purple and red. It's close.
Do they have an
Mac
even
is gonna love
smaller
it.
one for Frankie?
Unfortunately, no, but with a pair of scissors.
All right, good enough. It's an almost purple bow tie.
Almost purple bow tie. So the two of you are heading back to the complex, to the villa, and awaiting these folks. Speaking of, we head on back over. Earlier in the morning, having parted ways with both Nivel and Thurgood, the three of you head off towards the sort of data spire complex proper, a place where you can hopefully find a handful of information. As soon as you get in to the sort of server room proper, one of the data files, one of the many androids, all of whom carry a pretty distinctive blue tinge to them, much like Asteria 7 did, it becomes an attendant and guides you towards sort of one of the main mainframe areas where you can pose questions to essentially, well, one of the more modern versions of Percy, actually named Percy, not Percival, Percy, who can sort of begin to field these questions and give you as much information as they have readily available, which could be a fair bit given where you are. So as you sort of find a comfortable place to sit, I'm going to pass it off to you guys and ask what you want to do.
Is there one Percival?
There's one Percival, yes, but it can carry on multiple conversations at the same time if you needed to.
Okay, I have some questions.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay, so from my time on the freighters, I think I can figure out how we can make a bit of money moving some goods.
Sure.
I think
God damn it.
Somewhat.
some goods, just goods and supplies, services, like stuff. So we're talking about going to. I forgot the name of the planet.
Apostate.
Apostate. I was thinking asbestos.
Could be asbestos on apostate.
It's not
Apostate.
too far.
And this is the first time they're running the games since 70-ish years ago or something.
Thereabouts.
Okay. I want all the records on imports from circa about 70 years ago on what was popular coming in at around that time.
Ooh. Jeez Louise. Okay, dokie. Go ahead and roll me a d20. Just a d20.
Somebody's played space games.
That's a 10.
A 10.
But-
Yep.
Now, I know it's just a d20.
Yep.
Raw d20. I do have the merchant savvy
Sure.
skill, so I can re-roll that.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll me another d20, and I'll sort of give you an option.
That's a 4, so we're taking the 10.
A 4. So you do know that going sort of, and pretty quickly you can find just a detailed, we're talking like thousands of pages of spreadsheets, just inundating amounts. But in that time, back in Aposte, they typically would ship in either books and paper materials or extremely harsh chemicals for purposes unknown. Tend to be things that were sort of shipped in to Aposte all those days ago, or years ago.
Okay.
Cool.
And I also want all the information I can find on that lizard. Including like broad genetic profiles.
I would like to know what he eats. What is his favorite food?
So they're native to Versailles or Versailles. Favorite food is whatever they can get their hands on. It would seem. You've also learned that these Nimbalises, they are called, the Nimbalis is the name of the creature, basically can only see in the dark. Actually, it really, really struggles in bright light. They have like reverse dark vision, light sensitivity, as it were. They're tree-dwelling creatures primarily that sort of traverse by gliding, as you've already sort of seen, and basically eat whatever they can get their hands on, be it stones, bugs, rocks. Thankfully, Frankie wasn't eaten, because it could have happened. He might have been a bit too pointy. But basically anything that they want. What other sort of questions do you got?
I'm just looking for like it's their kind of evolutionary line and genetic makeup.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Make me pull that up. They're a lizard.
Yeah. Give.
That's about it. They're very distantly related to giant tyrannosaur-type creatures,
Hell yeah.
just as much as they're distantly related to actual fish.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically trying to get the full like makeup of on what you can pull out of different genes.
Oh,
and
geez.
that stuff.
Give Dan some time.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
me-
Like, it's not a rush or anything. I'm trying to figure out how you incorporate that into others,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
creatures, or myself.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Gliding and climbing.
Yeah, absolutely. There is biohacks and things you can do.
I know.
So absolutely, yeah.
I know.
You can start that process
Yep.
and start to build essentially a profile
Yep.
to work on once you have access to a proper laboratory.
Perfect.
Start that process.
Yep.
Off to you guys. What are you guys up to?
I want to learn some basics on these planets. So we suspect that on at least a few of them, we're pretty confident that there are species that have like hive mind type communication. So I would want, because we're probably going to be visiting some of them, I'd want to kind of get a feel for that.
Certainly.
So, yeah.
Well, I did give you, just so everybody's
list.
aware, I
Yeah.
gave them a list of planets essentially. And we can, for the sake of time and expediency, start to essentially go through, and I can give you a very brief little bit about each of them. Are you ready over there
Sure.
with your notes, Cam?
I'm here.
For those of you who do take notes. So, first off, you have Cerebos. You already know, hive mind of giant Formians, and very much destroyed. Also on the list was Eox, a planet here in the Pact Worlds, ruled over by undead primarily, and no real knowledge or sense of hive minds. Camera is frozen again, as is tradition.
That's fine. Let's give me a second to open up Discord so I can copy that list of names.
Okay, there we go. We're back. So Eox has no semblance or sense of hive mind. Dalmiko is your home planet you're well aware of, and doesn't really have any particular sense of hive mind activity, except for the giant monstrosities that stomp around the countryside, sort of seeking out large groups of people. How that might play in, you don't know. Demipi is a relatively unknown planet, and the only thing you have got back from it is it seems to be teeming with life, but even the Starfinders don't know too much about it. It's teeming with life. That's all the probes have returned so far. Although you've heard a bit of a warning that things might go wrong there. Galarian is on that list, which you know doesn't exist. It's a planet that used to, where Absalon Station currently is. Odoron is a entirely oceanic planet that is essentially, it's an ocean of pretty caustic acid. that is inhabited entirely by robots, mostly SROs. Silator is a gas giant, very similar to Livara here in the Pact Worlds, that, again, isn't too well known. All that's on the file is that it is populated by thought creatures. Whatever that might mean.
Maybe those are the ones that made the little balls.
Could be. Zinvilon is a planet entirely populated by undead, much like Eox, with one distinct difference. It's extraordinarily tectonically active. There's firestorms, volcanoes, the whole nine. It's somehow more uninhabitable than the irradiated Eox. Iupra is another oceanic place that is inhabited by giants, it would seem, that are sort of like seafaring, almost like constantly nomadic, almost like Maori in a sense, but giants in nature that ply those waters. Vesk 2, or EG, is a sort of difficult to take over place from the Veskarium that is populated by the same squid people, the Ejectries, much like Conquita was, who's doing the work on your ship right now. Manus is an entirely iron planet. It's essentially a ball of solidified iron that's filled with caverns and tunnels that is having a perpetual conflict between a group of essentially renegade SRO loggers and lumberjacks and a group of sentient plants and hordes of zombies that are roaming about on the place. It's essentially plants versus zombies versus robots. All happening.
I love that game.
All happening. at once.
Northern BC.
Yeah.
But Binabas is a planet of endless plains that has no real sort of main bodies of water. It just seems like a solid terrestrial ball that is inhabited almost entirely by nomadic groups of centaur-like creatures that seem to move about in these giant sweeping herds. Ieris is a planet of mountain spires that have essentially constant and continuous mountain ranges and ridgelines with no real flat surfaces to build on, but that hasn't stopped a large group of winged creatures from sort of building into the embankments and cliff faces to have some form of society there. Inion is a planet that is essentially a big ball of mycelium in space, so mushroom roots, that has giant, we'll call them world tree size mushrooms that sort of dot the landscape, each of them having their own little distinct ecosystem inside of them. And then finally, Dagox 4, you already somewhat know about, is a prison planet, where like Tash and all the rest of those were from. That is sort of separated into two distinct parts. One is the Supermax prison on one side. The other one is what they call the free range area, where low-risk prisoners are sort of set free on an open, wide countryside to sort of fend for themselves, but not be in prison. And here, you definitely have heard that they use sort of, we'll say, pacification drugs in the air on the free roam side to keep everybody docile and keep them all sort of communal and working together in a sense. Basically, they crop dust the prisoners.
Yeah, they hotbox the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is great.
Just
great
one
planet.
kind. Just one kind.
I love prison, man.
Do you know anything about the chemicals they use there?
Probably.
You
Probably
can
the same ones I use.
What's in my coffee right now?
Yep. What do you think was that giant mug of coffee?
Ah, okay.
Combination stimulant and depressant.
Oh gosh,
Timed release, though.
Let them fight.
that's called a balancant.
Is it suspicious at all that when Cerebos kind of poofed, there were visitors there who'd escaped from Dagox 4?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's more just proud coincidence than
Yeah,
because they were getting stuff from.
What were they getting?
They were trying to capture.
They were trying
a
to
queen.
capture. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
They
seems more
wanted
like
to sell it.
mercenary work than.
and they've been escaped for quite a while, they said.
Yeah,
We'll keep it in mind.
strong coincidence.
Yes.
I don't think important, but strong coincidence.
We could.
Sometimes coincidences just keep stacking up. and
You know when you need to like bold it and add the air sticks next to it? I feel like that's one of these pieces where it's like we should remember that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna Maku as their like conversation is gonna be like, I'm going to try Tash, and I'm gonna try to calm Tash.
Sure. So you just sort of send out in the ether, trying to find, sort of sending essentially a text message to the world, trying to find any response, and you don't get one.
Well, like I had Tash's thing before, right? Wouldn't it be the same channel? I'm assuming not to get him, but Maku's just gonna be like, hey, if you're around, like we're wondering what you were doing on Cerebos. Like we know you were getting a queen, but there was also like so much stuff happened, and we were just curious, and I just kind of miss you, friend. Okay, bye.
So you definitely know, I can sort of fill in stuff I'm making up right now, where as you move from sort of world to world, you essentially get issued like a new phone number that only exists in the area, and then there's broad long-range ship communications. That said, it's sort of like you connect into the network and then can be reached, okay? So as you put this call out for Tash, and the two of you are sort of having your conversation, Maku, after a moment of finishing your message, you do hear a key on the microphone with no speaking whatsoever. But something keyed in, and then stops.
Friend?
Who
Is this a new friend or an old friend?
did you get
What?
through?
There's somebody just went back.
Was
They
it,
didn't say anything. Just
was it quick?
was
Did they respond? Did that happen quickly after you sent it out?
okay, friend, new friend or old friend. It is okay either way. You do one for you are okay, or two for if you are in trouble and you need help. Okay. New/old friend is in trouble. We need to help them.
You don't even know who you're talking to.
I don't know, but I know that we're friends and they're in trouble.
Ask
How
them,
do you know they're your friend? You just decided to call them friend.
Okay,
ask if
okay,
they're on Epsilon Station. That lag time can't be any further than Epsilon.
okay, friend. We are in the data library, and I need
I just want to lock eyes with you and just be like,
I need two t's, okay? One is for if we are friends, and then there's going to be a pause, and you can do for no, but I think we're friends. We're going to get past that. And then can you give me, after the pause, how many you are away from the data center? Maybe, like, how would you measure space?
I mean, kilometers maybe?
Like how many
they've got to be on the station.
kilometers away you are from the data station? Is one okay, friend? Okay.
So a moment goes by, and you get a to say we are friends, at least by this weird communication protocol we're setting up as we're going.
Okay, we're friends.
But after the sort of goes on, they don't let go of the microphone. And then a timid enough voice, and one that is reasonably familiar perhaps, comes through your comms. I'm in the Hemisphere Theater. Hemisphere, you can find me there.
I thought we were done with this guy.
See,
Do
we
they
should-
hear
we should've
that too,
killed
or
them.
is it just me?
Do they hear that too, or is it
No,
just
just
me?
you.
I wanted to drug him to the nines before we sent that ship down.
So we didn't hear that. We know you're trying to reach Tash. We've heard your side of the conversation.
We're friends.
I have a few more questions before we do anything else.
I'm just gonna leave
If you want to, you absolutely can.
while they're distracted.
So you're watching as Maku is heading out. What are the two of you doing?
Well, she said she does this while we're distracted.
Yeah.
Give me a stealth check.
Nope. We are not distracted that much.
Okay.
13.
Anybody have passive perception higher than 13?
Sure I do.
And
Perception. Passive perception.
But I'm not
Game.
there.
It doesn't really exist. It's 10 plus your modifier.
Oh yeah, 18.
18. Yes.
Yeah.
So Maku, as you're like doo, 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 trying to sneak away, you see clear as day.
We better go with her.
can we radio the other guys? Maybe they're done.
Yeah, we can try that. But we don't know
Yeah.
where he's going. Where Maku's
Maku's just gonna start to run and go, I'm gonna be fine. I'm
Where
just
you going,
going for a
Maku?
walk. I just don't like his stuff.
Mako, you have to tell us where you're going.
Following, trailing. The library's always here.
Yeah. All right.
As following, also using our comms to reach out to Thurgood and Nival.
Certainly. So just as the moment as your poor halfling gets blown to pieces, a couple of seconds goes by as a collective groan goes through the burnt goat when you get a message on your comm. Rulana is trying to reach out to you.
Maku's on the loose.
I'm gonna get on there. She got in touch with someone who's our friend, and I don't know who that might be.
Yeah,
She was trying to reach Tash. That was the initial name she called.
Yeah.
We don't know if it actually is Tash or someone else, but
We also believe that Tash might be on this planet.
Oh, son
Station
of a sea
crap.
biscuit. Yeah, Doc, I got some goop for you to analyze. Oh, boy. All right,
Okay.
where to? What are we converging on then?
I did not tell
I will do my best to describe landmarks we are passing.
Yeah, track down that Skittermander if you can.
I am gonna yell out if you don't slow down. I will dart you.
I'm not very fast.
I was just gonna say,
I'm
I'm
a chubby little
not
skinny
having-
gander. I'm not
Little
fast.
legs
trouble
going.
keeping up.
You're walking right next to him. If you do not slow down.
I'm
Use
not
some
awake
force,
enough.
okay.
You know that meme of the little girl like running with the glow sticks or whatever they Photoshop
Yeah.
in the hand?
Yeah,
Anyway,
the
that's
bubbles,
what Maku is
bubbles,
Yeah.
right now.
Well, Mac has a little bit of a head start on us, and I'm assuming that the movement speed's
Yeah.
all about the same.
Also, I don't think you have any idea where you're going.
No.
You're just like hightailing it through the streets.
Am I anywhere close to my friend by the gate?
A friend by the
Oh,
gate.
The gang
halfling
guy.
gangster.
No.
Is there anybody nearby that I could ask directions?
I mean, there's passersby, so eventually you have to sort of stop, find one of the members of the of the Starfinders. That gives you two a chance to catch up at the very least, as you're talking to who do I want to make appear? We'll have an elven figure, who's a sort of lower-ranking member of the Starfinders, who sees you come sort of rushing towards them, you two in the middle distance behind, and as you're sort of moving towards it, sort of steps in the way. May I offer some assistance, Cognifier?
Oh, yes, I'm looking for my friend. He is lost, and I'm going to give him the name of the place. I don't remember.
The hammers for Theatorium. It's
Yes.
absolutely incredible place. They're not open, however, not for several more hours, not till the end of the day.
Oh, well, he's probably just like lost in the alley or something beside it, or so I just want to go find him. He's lost. He just messaged me, so I just need to know how to get there.
As the two of you approach, whatever this business is, do not allow it to sort of look ill upon your station. But the Hemisphere Theatorium is, and it gives you direction to the other side of the station, easily enough to find it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop back and get my drone. And
Sure. So at that point, we can say if you two were headed for the villa and you are headed to get your drone back, you can all sort of reconverge at the Lower Spire complex in and around the same time.
Okay. As we're headed back to the villa with Maku, I will let we'll let you know that Hammers 4 Theater is where we suspect, so you can keep an eye out on your way back if you don't mind for that place. Don't know if it's anywhere near you. And then let Maku know that Nival and Thurgood have reason to suspect that there may be a familiar bandit in the area.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, if we're all back together, I hand Doc the shmoo. You took a bioscan of...
I did.
Yeah, all right, well, see if this is his.
okay.
I like the idea you just pull the snotty rag. Here you go. For
scan
you.
You guys saw Tash?
We don't know. We're going to find out.
They saw his smear.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah,
to
it's the
go
worst.
help him. I didn't want to say anything because I know you guys don't like him, but he is my friend and I don't want him to be scared.
All right.
I like him more off our ship.
That is also true.
Well, I didn't take him onto the ship, okay? I just want to go make sure he's okay.
Okay, look.
Put a hand on Maku's shoulder. No one is blaming you. We will go find him.
Okay.
Can we make a rule before we go anywhere near him?
Okay.
Do not mention our new ship, please.
Really important.
Good call.
I'm going to be honest.
Didn't he see us take it?
We don't know. Well,
He was pretty drugged.
Oh, he was very drugged.
He looked so happy
he
and
was
was
having a
having
really
so
good
much
time.
fun.
oh,
I'm
boy.
actually shocked he got that ship down to the
How
planet.
how long does that stuff last? Because next time we go on a long trip, do you want to do some? Because it looked a lot of fun.
Well, I gave him enough to give Thurgood a good time.
Can you just
And
give me
he's about that big-ish, I think. He's not very big.
It's true.
Okay, anyway, can we go save him?
We
I
need to know
won't-
if it's him or not.
As
It
you
was
sort of
him. I was
scroll up,
talking to him.
it changes the right color. It's almost certainly a bio-signature match
Heard.
to a 1 Tash.
It's Dash.
I promise I won't tell him about the ship. But I'm not very good at lying, so if he asks me, maybe someone should just say something. Okay, because
Mm-hmm. All right.
Do
well,
we know if he's alone?
no. He's in trouble. He's scared.
well,
Okay.
Can we shut the air conditioner off? That's what it is.
So we don't know if he's alone. He said he's in trouble.
yeah.
He said that he was scared. I said, Psst, one for you're okay or or you're not okay. And he said, he's not okay.
Oh, so he's not even verbal right now.
He did for like a second. He was just like, it tells me where he was.
Oh boy. Well, I'm not gonna bother getting my gun for this. If this is a problem that requires more force, I'm just walking away. Gonna be honest, but we'll give it a shot. I will give it a shot.
I'm gonna get dressed and go because I want to see my friend.
We do have interesting things to potentially talk about while we walk.
Yeah, it's a pretty important shit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, okay.
But all right.
I'm gonna take my little lizard and I'm gonna be like, you sit this one out, friend. Okay, you stay in this room. You don't go anywhere.
got my gear on.
Immediately, like scurries across the counter, up onto the side, and is now hanging upside down, sort of nestled in behind a light fixture.
I'm gonna take
essentially.
some stuff out of the fridge and leave it out, but also shut some.
1 for you, 2 for me. 1 for you, 2 for me.
All right.
Okay, so we got people gearing up. So
Yeah.
geared up, not geared up,
Fully geared.
geared. Sort of always,
I think
essentially.
if I'm leaving the ship, I'm geared. Like, if I'm out of my room, I'm
Sure.
geared. I have a lab coat.
Which is getting progressively more stained
Yeah.
as time goes on. So, are we all heading off to the theater?
Yeah.
Is that the plan? And potentially talking on the way. Is that the intention?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
a little
okay.
bit of time to get there, and you can definitely, as you sort of leave Lower Spire Complex, as you make it out of the villa, just in time, you turn your head over your shoulder to watch. To watch as your lovely lizard friend, as you're out of sight, sort of falls down, landing with a pretty distinct splat inside the pile of food, getting ready to gorge on all this deliciousness. You make your way out of Lower Spire Complex proper into the streets of Absalon Station, having probably a 20-minute walk or so to get to where you're going. I'm going to go put a bucket under that leak.
As is tradition.
Yeah. So.
We found some more information about Toko.
Oh yeah.
Some of the roster, some of which couldn't communicate at the time, but I do recognize.
Oh really? Damn.
Not the ones that are there, confirmed to be at Aposte, but the Burning Hammer and, he said Wizard Guy, but Shining Wizard
Shining
would have
Wizard.
been two companions, close companions of mine.
Were they themselves SROs?
Yes, yeah. Everyone there would have been SROs.
right,
Having
right.
an android there is actually quite shocking to me.
Now, how much of a bluff do you think the you thing was?
Yeah.
Little
Something
context.
else.
What?
There's somebody bearing the name of our friend, maybe the idea of someone is still there within Toko. Either considered the reigning champion as a concept, or literally there is another you there.
Well,
Or
Right.
someone who shares your name.
And I also wasn't sure if it was just the guy knowing who I was trying to bluff me into a reaction. But it sounded like, yes, it's either there is another Nival, which is not outside the realm of possibility, although kind of gross.
Yeah.
Or it could be that it is my remaining title
Yeah.
from when I no longer partook. If it's starting up and this is the first fight.
Yeah.
But that also doesn't make sense if Blue is looking to... I don't know. It was odd.
maybe they're trying to like bait you to come back and fight.
That was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Your agent, handler, whoever, made no secret of the fact that he knew you were traveling with people.
Yep. Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
If they knew you were traveling with Nival, sending you on a mission there that you're likely to bring your companions along with, who happens to be someone that they might be interested in headlining their big fight.
But I can't see why they would want me to be there. I wouldn't be competitive versus the SROs there now.
You don't think so?
No,
Maybe
absolutely
they want
not.
to. Maybe they want to like kidnap you.
Why?
It's a big thing
I don't
right now
know.
too, though, to have retirees fight.
I suppose. It could just be
Just picturing
here's
much-
out with the old and in with the new. Let's destroy the old one.
Yeah, you got to
Which
bring back the
doesn't-
title.
God,
Doesn't
that's
surprise
such
me
good
at all.
TV. I hate to say it, but that's good
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah,
bring
the
in
draw
one of
of a
the
title
glory
fight
days,
against
yeah.
the
Yeah.
former champion.
Yeah,
70-year ago, former champion comes back to defend the title, but it's a new upshot.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Who's their biggest
It's a
fan?
big
That was
sell.
another twist.
Yeah.
Blue really liked the idea of Nival like a lot.
but I don't think anyone would remember me. That's
doesn't matter.
Well,
you were
how-
the former champion.
How old
one
can
of.
One of.
androids get? Because maybe he really did see you when he was like a little one.
CV2 from the ether answers ageless. They have no expiration date.
Maybe he did really see you when you were fighting.
But that's Blue. And it may have been me that Blue saw. True. I don't know.
I mean, it's also a hype machine, is it not?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
correct.
He might just be speaking words that they're telling him to.
That is true.
But one of the reasons why I left, let me remind you, is that they changed the parameters of the fights, which meant that I was obsolete. So, weapons, guns, distance ranged. I'm not programmed and physically incapable of ranged combat. And there was a decision along the way that it could garner more attention if they changed the rules and they removed the size restrictions and allowed ranged weapons. So if I were to get in there and bring a knife to a gunfight, so to speak, it wouldn't be competitive.
But
It would be more of a hunt.
I was just going to say that I was on this planet once where they did like hunting, and so they would like put a creature out to like survive, and then they would go like hunt it, and whoever got to kill it was the champion.
Sounds lovely.
It was awful.
That was
It's
sarcasm.
Oh,
Did I do that right?
That's
You
pretty
did.
good.
It
The
was
intonation
spot on.
Pretty
Yes.
good. Yeah,
Sounds
Okay.
lovely.
yeah.
I'm so confused.
Okay.
But the other thing, and maybe this was, if he did know who I was, just a means to pull me out, I can't not go now if I know that Shining Wizard and Burning Hammer are there.
Why is that?
Because I'd be concerned about, they too are melee ranged only obsolete robots.
Also former champions.
Also former champions. It was me and 5 others.
It's almost like trying to bring out the old.
And you're worried it's going to
Slated.
be like a slaughter.
Yeah, like the world
Yeah.
champion. You got the
Gee,
heavyweight.
Lord.
You got the lightweight. The featherweight.
Doc, don't sound so entertained.
Yeah, this is gonna be awesome!
You know,
Messed up.
we only got hyped
Die,
in
murder,
the,
murder.
deep.
Man,
You know, this is all we got.
I guess so.
It's great stuff.
This sounds very scary.
I'm going to have to ask my manager what exactly my script is for the interview or what they want to know. What kind of angle they want with Blue. But
Did they not say that your interview would be Blue, who was fighting against N2?
and two, didn't hear a damn thing about that, right?
Was
Right.
slated to maybe be one of their potential contenders
Yeah.
to take the title from N2.
Yeah. So N2 would be the current reigning champion.
Yep.
Right.
Well, here's another thing. I asked about this Nival's fighting style, right? Didn't sound like you at all. Didn't no mention of a sword.
Me adjacent, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, cold. But, you know, they were talking about
Right.
distance explicitly, gunning people down at however
Right.
many paces.
Right. So it sounds like there may have been a second Nival that was
Oh,
built,
yeah.
which goes back to N2.
Would you have any way of reaching out to your old compatriots there to see if there are V2s of them as well?
No.
No.
No, probably not, unfortunately.
No, purposefully, you wouldn't really want your SROs to be able to communicate with the competition.
Fair
Oh.
enough.
There was when we were at Diamonds, she was telling us about the android resistance group. If they are all V2s, who would be, or the SRO resistance group, whatever it was, if the V2s are all happening at not asbestos.
Apostate.
Apostate. That's stuck in my head now. I'm sorry. It's going to be asbestos forever.
That's all right.
If you have all V2s there, maybe the android resistance is being led by the not V2s.
Possibly.
That's a couple jumps.
Although it sounded like it was android-specific rescuing, not SRO. Also, yes, these could all be V2s, in which case I don't really care. But if N2 is Nival 2, I would imagine that Shining Wizard and the Burning Hammer would also be version 2. Not necessarily, but 2.0 sounds cooler.
You saw some videos of these guys?
Not of Nival.
No, just blue, really.
Just blue.
And the Gemini twins one and the mining robot.
Yeah.
The 3 that are confirmed to be there.
Yeah.
Last thing that sticks out in my mind. We have a contact on the planet. Somebody named Arya. In the Bleak Lands.
Yep.
Sounds like a good place. Fun place. Chop shop, as in like they're known. I didn't fully understand what was being said. I was eating ribs at that point.
SROs in general, but certainly at Toko, are seen as cars, right? That's the most equivalent I could provide, as in the same way as I was treated. If anyone asked me, I was treated well, but the same way you would treat, like, oh, she's a beauty, like a beautiful car. Chop shop is what you would consider a car chop shop, but robots. You're going there to improve your robot or maybe building a new one. That's probably, if I stayed where I would have ended up, to be used to create Nival 2.
Right.
So it would be robot specific, SRO specific.
All right.
Which you would all broadly know is bad.
Gross.
that sort of thing. But within that circle, that community, that enterprise, not uncommon.
Right.
To sort of be taken out behind the shed and used for parts.
Yeah. That didn't work.
No.
So in the cat under the dog. Got it.
If you lost only by a little, they might just replace a few parts to try to get you to win. Next time you lose 3 times in a row, you're better off for gears and gizmos.
Yeah.
Then Arya's a good contact there?
We were asking about tickets at that point, I think, or at least a way in.
Right.
Especially if I can't finagle press pass or +1, +2. We'll see.
Or even some inside information as to what we're getting into before we're at the front door.
Yeah. Well,
I can take a dig through Grand's book, see if we got any family there.
yeah.
You never know.
Grand.
The Rolodex.
We're everywhere.
It is Arya.
All of our contacts here on out.
Just everywhere throughout the entire pack. Always.
They're all Yosoki.
Always
Listen, man, the Yosoki wouldn't
literally
be
in the
outside
book.
the question
That's
for a chop shop.
They breed like rats.
So, let's find out. Is there one? Sure, maybe.
Yeah. Don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
Don't have the book on me, probably.
So, what's the plan?
So
We're
I
heading
think
to the theater, aren't we? Like, this
Yeah,
has
we're
been while we're
walking.
walking.
Yep.
I think that when we get there, you guys should let me go in because you guys might spook him because none of you were very nice to him.
Sure, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
I didn't
Can
kill
you-
him.
Doc was really nice to him. Can you?
I was good to him.
Can Doc accompany you? Pretty please.
Look, guys, like, I'm clearly giving you guys the eyes. Maku clearly doesn't understand sarcasm. We just need to let Maku do this their way, okay?
Yeah,
All
just
right.
because you guys will scare him away again.
You're probably right.
Yeah, so...
I'm dressed as friendly as I can, though.
Yes, but you're big and you're scary.
Yeah.
If you need help, radio us.
Oh, of course.
Very much so. I'm gonna look at the
I
plants.
have no concerns whatsoever about this plan.
Thank you, Milana.
All right. There's some nice statues or
Nigel's also trying to
topiary
figure out that
outside.
time. Was that sarcasm? Computing.
I give her a wink.
What's the, like, this is a nice looking place, right?
Yeah, so you're in now the sort of theater arts district area of Absalon Station, and you can see sort of looming in the middle distance this Hammersford Theatorium. It is a sort of reasonably impressive 4-story building with a giant marquee on the front of it with a smiling halfling face giving thumbs up, almost like Fozzie, hey, on the front. Sort of maybe not belying how upscale it can be at times. It's sort of a place for the masses as well as holds sort of big galas and balls and things from time to time. In this sort of middle of the day, early afternoon, it's completely closed. The sign is unlit of this smiling halfling. Beside that, there's a couple other little like mom and pop sort of kitchery shops where you can buy just weird little. You probably maybe could actually find a purple bow tie here if you really looked. And a couple of food vendors out and about. Places you could easily make yourself scarce and yet readily available if you wanted to. To answer your question, it is on the upper scale of things,
Okay.
to say the least. As you sort of approach proper, you can look up and see the Hammersford Theatorium sign, not blinking, completely closed. Doors are shuttered, windows are shuttered. It seems as if it's all closed up shop for the day, not permanently. Pretty clearly. No sign or rhyme or reason of Tash or any of his companions anywhere nearby as it stands. It definitely seems like a touristy area when the tourists aren't here. It's too early in the day for that, it would seem. What do you guys want to do?
We're gonna look for a way in.
Maku, before you go, here's your bow tie. Wear it well. It's not quite purple.
It's beautiful. It's got red on it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
We looked for it a very long time. We selected through many bow ties, and this is the best one for you.
I believe you. This one is perfect. I'm just
Enjoy.
gonna like instantly put it on while he goes and looks for a place that he can get into the theater.
Certainly. So you go off to find a spot. What are the other 4 of you up to? Where are you trying to make yourself scarce?
I'm just leaning against the building. I'm just like,
We're outside like the front of the building
Yeah.
right now.
I'm looking at like all like the show posters and like
Yeah, certainly. Actually, so tonight's act is Jababa's Flying Iron Flyers is
Wow.
who's going to be on tonight, which is a essentially like a synchronized drone flying team that will occupy the space inside and apparently put on a pretty good show.
Before you go in, Maku, can you try reaching Tash again on your radio?
Tash, are you okay?
Don't whisper.
Tash, are you okay? We're outside and we're going to come rescue you. We just got to find a way in.
You get
Yeah, he's not okay, but he's still alive because he's still trashing me.
Can we get a better sense of where he is in this building?
Probably not if he...
Can you like get him to do 1 for close to the front or 2 for close to the back?
Oh boy.
Okay, Tash.
Sure.
Okay, Tash. Can you do... How big is this building?
4
It's
floors.
4 stories. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Okay, can you do 1 for what floor you're on of the building?
Roll me a d20.
7.
Oh,
It's okay. It really matters how close we are to one another, whether or not you can figure out some sort of quick language to discuss. Maybe it seems as if he's up on the 4th floor, at the very least. He's far from the entrance. He's really high up, and he's hiding somewheres. Is the gist of what, you don't want to roleplay the entire conversation, you're getting to.
My drone has climbing claws. Can I climb up to the 4th floor
drone
and try to
absolutely could.
look through a window?
Your drone absolutely could, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to send it up.
Okay, so as you sort of just affix the drone to the side, it starts to...
Can I see through my goggles with
Yeah.
my drone without having a camera? Is the camera just to record for a drone?
If your drone has a camera, you can see through the eyes of it when you
I
are controlling
don't have a
it.
camera right now.
Then you cannot.
Okay, so, but
It won't do you any good, really, at this point.
You could ask him if he can see your drone.
okay, Tash, I'm going to send my drone up, and you me if you can see him, okay?
Okay, you just get an immediate maybe yes.
I lean over to Rolana. You want to keep an eye out for station police.
Oh,
We're,
are we
we're-
breaking in here?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
how
yes.
subtle is? I can't imagine Maku is being subtle. There's a drone on top of the building.
It started. I mean, the drone's
Yeah.
like yay big. It's not particularly
The
small.
drone is just barely smaller than Maku.
My
At
eyes
least
aren't too
isn't
good.
bright coral colored.
How close to the next building over is this place? Like,
There is like a 2-story building on either side of it, to say the least, and there's a small alleyway between each of them, so you could probably go around the entire
are those
building.
buildings open?
They seem to be combination like domicile and restaurant or kitchery store below them.
So
Yeah.
it's also going to look
Yep.
fishy if we get on top of them. Okay. Yeah, okay.
There's an
I'm-
alleyway?
Yeah, there are alleyways. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking for a way in.
Yeah, can I go down the alleyway and try to climb up the side of the building?
certainly. So I mean, look at the two of you going around inside the alleyway. That way the drone can go up and you can go up.
Yep.
So with the drone having a climbing speed, you not so much.
No, I mean,
I want to stand under Doc, so if he
vaguely?
falls, I can catch him.
Oh, I have a climbing speed.
Oh, so you can go up if you wanted
Oh
to.
no, it's Chunker. I don't think I took that feat. I don't think I could yet.
No, I don't think you did.
I like not climbing, but I've got Moxie, which kind of more just points that we're scrappy and nimble.
Sure. You can go ahead and give me an athletics check, please. Your drone does not need to, as it's scurrying up on its own.
This guy.
I'm keeping a watch out for station police.
Ooh,
I just want
Ooh,
to find any
8.
sort of way in that I can see.
So keeping an eye out, give me your perception check. Thurgood, what are you up to?
Thurgood is kind of just like trying to be subtle. He is legitimately interested in what's playing. You don't have to tell me everything, but he's just like, but then also looking left and right occasionally. But
Okay. So we got watching
watching the watcher.
the watcher, waiting to catch Doc when he maybe falls.
13.
13. You're keeping a reasonable eye out. Surprisingly low for you, I
I
think.
know,
Yeah.
that was a bad roll. It was a 5.
Maybe being distracted by the show that's happening on the side of the building as the drone and Doc are both on their way up. Unfortunately, there's not too many things to grab a hold of, and the drone pretty quickly outpaces you. Getting up near the 4th floor, where you do find there's not so much an open window, but there is a series of air vents that are probably exhaust from the building proper that your drone and maybe could easily fit through. No problem. The drone, sort of following your command, disappears into the air vent. Now, controllable by you, but you can't see through it. So you really have no idea where it's going or what it's doing.
Yeah, I only wanted to send it up there to see if Tash could see it.
Mhm.
I want to look for maybe a ground level or something that I could reach way in.
Yeah, certainly. So sort of navigating the entire building, you do find that there's a series of like staff-only doors on the back of the building and side of the building that are very much locked and closed. The whole building seems locked down.
What is the easiest thing that I could break? Is there a window?
There's no windows on the main floor aside from the boarded up ones at the front, which are not boarded but shuttered by great big like garage door kind of
Okay,
things.
I'm gonna get my drone to come back down. I'm gonna try to get in through one of the doors.
Certainly. So it just sort of scurries back down. Doc, you make about halfway up when you notice the drone coming back down. And you can easily find enough a door, and you need to give me a engineering check, if you wanted to attempt to pick a lock to get in.
Oh, 28.
Woo! 28. So, keeping an eye out, you can see that there is a small, not crowd, but people are beginning to mill about. There's still a couple hours to go before the place opens proper, but you can definitely tell like the early arrivers are here, starting to get ready to do touristy stuff. Not enough to draw attention to you guys as of yet. When you hear a pretty distinct clink as the door unlocks in the alleyway, freely allowing you entry into this building if you wanted to. Doc, you're still stuck about a quarter of the way up the building right now. What are you doing?
I'm gonna keep going.
You're going to keep
I
going.
saw it pop in the vent. I'm gonna go for the vent.
Certainly.
He's already back down.
No, I mean I saw it go in. I'm like, oh,
There's a vent
up
there.
So, still heading up. Doors open. Nobody's spotted you as of yet. Just the Iron Flyers tonight. That's the headline.
Fair enough.
Do you guys want to take a look around for more of the sludge? Schmear, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, peeking, looking at things isn't really my forte. But you know, if we do get approached, I'll gladly do the talking.
I mean, the crowd that seems to be, like, the early arrivers here probably are going to help us blend in a little bit as long as you're not too...
Not too suspicious.
Bumbling.
Oh, I'm a person of culture. I look like I belong here. Yeah. No, I'll just keep an eye out, and if you need me to talk to somebody, I'll make it happen.
Okay, so keeping eyes. Going in.
My drone and I are gonna go in, but we're gonna try to be quiet.
Certainly. Give me a aggregate stealth check. We're going to call that for quite a while. See how well you bumble through.
For me and my drone, or just me?
Just you.
Okay. I think my drone is stealthier than I am, so.
Yeah, that's why you're doing it, because you're bringing your drone with you. It's being quiet, but you might not be.
It's a 19.
19. Okay. So, as you're still climbing, it'd be one more athletics check, because it might dictate the time. As you enter the back of the building, the door closes behind you. Easily enough, you can sort of keep the door unlocked if you want to allow them access.
Put a little, stick in
Yeah,
there
put a
or
wedge in it, like at the Smoker's Rock, so they can get in. As soon as you get inside, you can hear pretty faintly the sound of whirring drone helicopter rotor blades in the distance, sort of almost like a sine wave, getting louder and quieter, and it's happening probably in the main auditorium area. You can't quite see it as of yet. You are right now in essentially a storeroom where every other act that is pretty commonly run here has all been crammed into at once. So there's just huge amounts of costume racks and mannequins and props and set pieces that are all not particularly well organized, jammed into this particular room that you're in. There's no sign or sight of Tash. You're on the first floor, and he seems to be on the fourth floor. Okay. But you're fairly confident you're unnoticed. What do you want to do?
I want to try to get up to find a way to get up to the 4th floor.
Certainly. There's a couple of ways you pretty quickly suss out. One, there's essentially like scaffolding of sorts, where they use to affix pieces of set, which you could probably climb up. There is possibly stairs, definitely stairs somewhere, but you might risk getting spotted if you head that way. And there is, in the distance you can see, a sort of service elevator of sorts that goes up and down that probably is used to move huge portions of set piece. Any of those three options could get you up there. One will almost certainly get you spotted, trying to navigate to find stairs in a public area.
Yeah,
scaffolding or elevator.
I'm going to take the scaffolding.
Certainly. Give me an athletics check as well. Your drone does not need to.
What was the show on tonight again? Trapeze?
Iron Flyers.
Yeah, Jababa's Iron Flyers.
Coordinated drone displays.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Athletics, right?
Yep. 12. Okay, and what did you get on your one?
22.
22. So as you start the process
Can
of...
I use acrobatics instead?
Unfortunately not. As you start to crawl up with your many, many hands, your drone almost making a mockery of you as it has no problems heading up. Doc, you finally get up to hit that pretty distinct wash of air coming out of the exhaust of this air vent. It can peer inside. It's a horrendously dusty, hasn't been probably serviced in a very long time, probably a fire hazard vent on display that if you want to, you can crawl right on in.
It's going straight in.
It will be a tight fit, however. You'll have to sort of put the arms up or arms down and wiggle your way through.
I have compression.
Never mind, you can just... You're quadruple jointed and can just fit on right on through. He safely disappears, making so you don't need to catch him if he falls.
I was going to say he's cleaning it right now.
It's true, like the worst Swiffer ever.
I'm a good Swiffer. I'm fluffy.
So as you start to navigate your way through, please give me a perception check.
There's rats in the walls.
11?
11. Okay, so it's not really labyrinthine in nature, but it is somewhat complex. You start to navigate your way through, and it does take some time before you get your first sort of viewport into the building proper. It's an intake vent, essentially, into the system you're in now, which is right at the very, very top, looking nearly straight down over the main auditorium area. And it's here where you can see this collection of about 30 drones that are in the process of practicing whatever routine they're doing, sort of forming shapes perhaps and designs. It's hard to tell given you're not from the really...
Not looking at the right direction.
You're not looking at... Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not getting the magic marker in the right zone here. Can't quite see what's in the painting, but they're practicing. And you can see that sort of in where the orchestra would sit in a traditional theater, there's a huge suite of people all geared up with goggles who are going through the process of flying all of these. You do notice... eventually, a little flash of coral pink, sort of catching light in the right sense, as Maku is down quite a few levels, navigating up a set of scaffolding as well, as the two of you are doing this weird, like, spy versus spy thing, trying to find out where you're going. So you see Maku, you definitely don't see him. That's the first thing you have seen thus far. What do you want to do?
I'm just take a scan around, see if I can see. So he said he was on the 4th floor.
Yep.
And I'm looking over.
You're
the
like
main
up, you're like
floor?
4th floor plus. You're slightly above it, but
Okay.
you're right above. You're in all the workings, the gubbins of the top of the building,
Right.
looking straight down over the huge expanse that occupies the entire main auditorium.
Okay. Is there a catwalk or anything nearby?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna make my way towards that.
Certainly. So you sort of just clang, 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 move your way a la Die Hard through all the vents till eventually you find a spot. You pass them somewhere. I just live here. You find a vent
This is not Tokokomo Tower.
that is openable, and you can hop out onto the catwalk proper. As soon as you do, you look down and see Maku's made it about halfway up. So there's a couple of different doors that you could easily enough start exploring and try to find, see maybe where Tash is, or potentially wait for Maku, or don't. Your call.
I'm gonna go try the first door.
Certainly. Easy enough. It opens, and when it does, you're hit by a very pungent smell. It's one you're all too familiar with. It's the squatter's smell. People have been living in these upper, hidden away rooms, you can tell, and it hasn't been cleaned in quite some time. You feel right at home. Pretty instantly. But when you open the door, there's nothing skitters, nothing runs. There's no sign of anything living there right now. But you also get the impression, having smelled and sort of standing in the doorway looking around, that it might be the similar case in many of these other upper hidden but unused rooms in the 4th floor of this place. There could be sort of maybe people who work in the establishment are living up here, or squatters have just snuck their way in just like you have. But all seems quiet in this room that you went into right now.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep doing it room by room.
Certainly. So by about the 3rd room, you start to hear the sounds of Maku's groaning just a few feet below you, still trying to get up. As the two of you are probably about to meet, getting ready to head into the sort of 4th and maybe 5th of these rooms, down on the main floor, everybody else sort of watching and chilling. The front door, you hear the sound of sort of chains unlocking and opening, and they're getting ready to start their service or their performance. As the shutters begin to lift, the door swings open, and a very diminutive halfling, who you can see bears a striking resemblance to the now blinking on thumbs up sign, a younger halfling sort of steps out into the main alleyway or main thoroughfare, looks out at the crowd in the distance, and just, it's going to be a good night, I think. And spins and hightails it, door closing, latching behind you, getting ready to open for business for the night.
Okay. So where I am,
Yep.
am I like in the line? If I would have liked to have been.
There's not quite a line.
Not quite a
but
line.
yeah, you're in front of, you're just where they put all the billboards
Yeah.
for, I mean, how long since I've been to a movie theater? Jesus. Anyway, where they put all the signs on the front of the movie theaters, in front of the main doors, essentially, is where you're hanging out.
Yeah. Thurgood's gonna get into a position where, if the doors open and they start selling tickets, he can be first in line.
Certainly. What are the two of you
Is
up
there
to?
anywhere where prices posted for tickets?
Yeah, actually there is. Boop, boop. Doop, doop, doop. It is a mere 10 credits.
10 credits.
Yeah, to get into an evening performance such as this.
Yeah, I'll get in line too.
Do you want to? I'll be back in a second. Just save my spot, and I want to before I get in line with them, circle the building looking for any of the slime stuff.
Certainly, give me a perception check, please.
That's not a D20. That is a 21.
21. So, making your way around, you find Maku's open door with the rock, sort of the smoker's rock put in place. But at the rear of the building, you definitely catch, and it's because you're spending a little bit of time and you're being reasonably diligent, in one of the main bay doors that has been probably more frequently opened and closed, you can see there's a small pool of a familiar tash goo, perhaps, nearby, as well as a distinct look that this bay door, has been tampered with in some way. Now, unfortunately, Maku was pretty quick, just trying to find entrances, and didn't notice that this one has been tampered with in a way that you're familiar with. Someone's broken into this door as well, and somewhat recently.
Okay. If I give it like a nudge, does it open?
It does not.
Like that easily? Okay. I think my detect thoughts works through walls. Just a second.
That'd be cool.
That's
Scouting.
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, whoa. It's like those vampire games. You like sense blood through doors and stuff.
Yes.
There's a new Vampire Masquerade game coming out.
Yes.
It looks very good.
On Helen. Can penetrate barriers, but 3 feet of dirt or wood, 1 foot of stone, 1 foot of common metal, or 1 inch of common metal, so probably
Yeah,
not.
probably
No.
not.
Okay.
No, unfortunately.
All right, then I will. What the hell? I'm gonna open the door.
Certainly, give me an engineering check.
Oh, so it was tampered with and then relocked?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 10.
10. So it doesn't mean a failure. It just does mean some time. As you start to finagle with this mechanical lock, I'll get back to you in just a second. 2 of you have met on the sort of main catwalk.
Hey, friend.
Took the hard way. You took the really hard way.
I need a second. Okay. Did you find Tash?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going and look for him, okay? Is there any indication other than just the doors?
It seems to be just the tenement sort of hidden room doors that you're looking for here. Yep.
Okay, Tash friend. All I see are doors. Are you in one of the tiny rooms up here? Does that mean no?
It's up to you.
Does 2 ch mean yes or no? Do 1 ch for yes and 2 ch for no. Okay, yeah, he's up in here somewhere. Do you want to split up? Do we hear people coming or movement or people haven't started coming in?
Looking
yet?
down, you can still see the drone thing going on, but they have not opened
okay.
yet for the day. No.
Okay.
We should stick together at this point.
Okay, but this is a lot of doors. How many doors are there?
Like 3 left.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Let's go to the closest one.
Yeah.
Certainly. So
On the-
go ahead.
Oh, so I was just saying, on my comms,
Yep.
I'm just going to let the rest of the group know. It looks like he entered through the back door. Like the receiving door, I guess it kind of is. Yeah.
Shipping, receiving.
Shipping, receiving, yeah.
Shipped here.
Well, no, there was slime. Yeah.
On the ground.
Oh, he's so stressed.
Well. Maku, you sound terrible. You okay?
Yeah, I climbed up really high.
Okay. Not gonna lie, I was getting a little bored out here, so I'm gonna see the show. But I will be inside the theater if you need me. Good.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good luck, everyone. I think. Don't do anything stupid, huh?
As you're breaking into the back door and the 2 of you are off on your own. Yeah. So you 2 are waiting in line still, and you can see that now a small crowd is beginning to sort of mill about. You can see little groups, like friend groups essentially, are beginning to form, and you can hear this sort of ambient conversation that everybody's excited to see Jababa's Iron Flyers for the first time or the 3rd time, depending on if they're like aficionados or not. It's going to be a good show. You're starting to learn. Perhaps one way or the other. We'll find out. As the 2 of you go try a couple of more doors, when you get to the 5th door, you sort of, as you go to wiggle it, everyone has been open thus far. This one, when you push open, it is jammed. There's something behind it. It gets maybe a good solid inch out before it and hits. And when you do, you immediately hear.
Oh, this is the door he's in. Tash, is there anyone in there with you, or are you by yourself? 1 is for by yourself.
A moment goes by before flying out of the distance, out of sight, a sort of an empty cup of maybe water comes flying, pangs off the window or off the wall inside the room behind you. Sort of as if he's trying to throw something at the door that's currently not open.
Tash, was that you?
Bang! Some more rubbish hits the other side.
Tash, are you in the
I'm
door?
gonna just push.
He just pushes as hard as you can. Give me an athletics check, please.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that Tash isn't warning us not to go in there.
Yeah.
18.
So as you're trying to get through, more and more stuff is being thrown at the door as you sort of push and
I
push
don't
and
think we
push.
should do that.
Get it enough that you could fit through. if you would like.
Poke my head through.
You sort of poke your head through just in time to maybe duck at the last second and nearly get hit in the head. When you see through your dark vision,
I don't have dark vision.
you don't have dark vision. You see through the very low light coming in through some of the essentially holes in the top.
For instance, I can smell this room real well.
You can smell the room really well.
Yeah.
You smell a familiar slime, and maybe from the light coming from his sort of communication device that's set into the floor, casting off a thin blue glow, you can see there is a Bantrid who's right now whirling around on their Omnifoot, trying to find all sorts of scrap they can to hurl at the door towards you. You also can tell they may or may not be under the influence in some way or another.
Was this the stuff that was being thrown on the other side of the door?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was coming from behind me.
No. You pushed open the door, and it's like, bang, it's hitting this
Oh,
side.
okay. I thought it was like stuff coming over my
No.
shoulder. That's why I was like, don't open it. Okay, never mind.
So you can see he's swirling around, potentially under the influence of something, as he's like scrounging with his two little flangy hands to grab stuff and hurl it in your general direction.
Maku's just gonna run in there.
Sort of push past, and you
Is he chasing the dragon?
He's chasing the dragon.
Oh no!
you cram on through, and as soon as you do, he sort of abruptly stops and
What did you do?
like stands up to look at you. His two little phalange arms sort of fold down to the side a little bit. It's you again.
Yes, are you okay, friend?
Is your... I saw him.
Yes, I only brought him. I asked everybody else to wait outside so they didn't scare you.
Well, everybody else, as long as they stay outside, they'll be fine. Falconer's not going to bother them. But if your friend's still here, does he have any of the... You were absolutely right, by the way.
Yeah, buddy.
The falconers here.
Yeah, they're all downstairs.
Oh, are you in trouble? You're in trouble, right?
Well, I'm not in too much. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, always.
So, do you want us to escape you out? Is Falconer being bad to you?
Always being somewhat mean to me. But you know, bring all your friends in here first.
I thought you said to keep them outside.
No, outside of the bill. Just where's the little one? The other little one. Where's Doc?
I'm coming in.
He's over there.
It's all who I want to see. And it moves, sort of shoves you out of the way, sort of setting you into a scatter of refuse, and wheels up to you, puts both the phalanges on the side of your face. You're back.
I'm back. I'm back, buddy.
You absolutely know what I need.
And you know what we need. What's Falconer doing here?
Let's make a deal.
Yep.
Falconer is well, yeah. The Vanx is here at Absalon Station, and you can feel the little phalanges like tickling the back of your head as he's talking. Vanx is back at Absalon Station. Falconer is not pleased with you all. And well, where's your side of the deal?
Where's Falconer right now?
Down in the storeroom.
Down in the storeroom.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Okay.
I was when I came
Why are
in.
you up here?
Hmm?
Why are you up here?
I'm bait.
Oh, you're bait for us?
Well, for somebody.
Need the full clue right now, buddy.
It depends. What do you got for me?
I have whatever you need.
He's not going to divulge any more information.
All right. Well, if nothing else, I'm not giving you anything else.
You gotta give him some of the dragon, buddy.
Okay.
You gotta chase it.
I'm gonna give him a tiny bit of it,
Sure.
but I'm also gonna start prepping up the step down kit
Sure.
where
Like the
It-
anti-drug.
yeah, essentially the methadone and the
Yeah,
et cetera all the way down.
Naloxone.
Then methadone all the way down until it's essentially he's just giving himself jolts of caffeine, right?
Sure. So essentially, you give him this first
Full power dose,
full
regular
power
dosage.
dose. He immediately begins to spill the beans. Falconer is downstairs, in where we broke in, and they're there with Corolla and Emil, and well, they figured that. I'm sorry, but they figured that you'd answer, and you did. Are all you here?
We're here.
You're all here. Yeah. Yeah. Immediately reaches down, hits the comm on the button on the tablet beside him. They're here. You. At this point, you manage.
Take our 5.
What?
Can we take 5?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay.
That's a good
This is a good
thing.
time for a pre-break. Before this door, before we take the pre-break, I will say, you manage to get it unlocked, and it's sort of like spring-loaded, so as soon as you get it unlocked, the door rises up, and you have this awkward moment where you're looking at Falconer and Yamil and Corolla, these three you haven't really met, who are in the process of like getting ready to gear up, and you hear out of a comm, they're here, they're here, they're here. And that's where we're going to take a break. We're back, and where we're picking up is at an awkward record scratch moment as the door flies open, and Rulana, you see staring you right now, sort of this awkward moment where they look to see you, hearing the sound of they're here, they're here, they're here, they're here, of Tash blaring through their comms console. There are three figures standing before you. All three of which I think you've seen at least briefly once before. The first being Falconer, the four-armed Kashathan sort of captain of the Vance, who is in the process of, with her lower hands, reaching for a pair of pistols on her hips. You also see Corolla. You're imagining Corolla, the small red-skinned Kishti, a lizard-type species who's also in the process of drawing their weaponry. Something that's all too familiar, actually. It looks kind of like Doc's syringe gun, but a bit more, how do I want to say this? Brutalized, I want to say. And then finally,
Taking that from him.
finally, the third figure is a Panthera, a feline type with jaguar spots, who's in the process, it looks like, of assembling a long arm. Like a two-piece sniper rifle, essentially, is being put together. As this moment it flies open, I need everybody to roll initiative, even though you're the only one who's there.
There's a D20.
That's a bad sign.
Well, it's not too bad, but it may be. We'll see. 14.
Okay. Maku?
Not too bad.
17.
Very good.
14.
Okay.
17.
Oh, it's a bad face.
5.
Oh no!
Sorry, what? What are we doing? What?
Stuff is happening? I didn't even know.
Really interested in the poster you're staring at.
People watch this. It's just programming. It's not impressive. You're just programming.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool.
Alright, just doing my initiatives back here. I didn't roll too great either, to be honest. Oh. Okay, so although we've all rolled initiative, you guys are all somewhat familiar with how this works. Until your characters will be aware something's going horribly wrong, you're not actually in initiative yet. Okay, but once it becomes readily apparent, those of you who are out front can get involved, as it were. At the essentially top of the non-surprise round, we have Maku and one of the people in the storeroom. So we're going to do all of this. You both got 17, geez.
Yeah.
So Maku and Doc, both at 17, are sort of free to choose who goes in what order. We are going to do all of this in theater of the mind, okay? 'Cause I didn't expect there to be a theater fight going on today. Kind of did, but kind of didn't.
I'm assuming that Doc is probably going to go first since he's got a bandit on his head.
Well, he did, with one hand, he let go. So to set the scene, he's just holding on the button, screaming, "They're here, they're here, they're here!" with the syringe sticking out of one side, his other hand on the side of your face as he's confused about how he should be happy or sad. But what do you do?
Okay, are we like fighting initiative?
That's up to you.
Okay, I'm not going to yet.
Turn-based time.
Someone might be about to.
In my intense dislike of what he's done, I'm swapping out the step downs.
Sure.
And I'm just giving like all full powered.
Just amping him up.
Every single one of them that I was gonna give him full powered everything.
Sure. I'm just gonna do a generic a Constitution save or Fortitude save against your DC. What would it be?
For
Ooh, good.
my DC. What am I looking for?
For your like inhibitors DCs.
You're gonna have to give me a second here.
Yeah, no problem.
Basic inhibitor.
I'm gonna guess I failed ahead of time because I only got an 11. Maku, you can think of what you're gonna do on your turn coming up, and then both Thurgood, you're not there yet, so Rue, you're actually gonna be up next.
Okay.
Yeah.
The storeroom is where I came in, right? It's right next to.
Nearby.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
See, they just work through attack rolls.
Then go ahead and give me an attack roll, I guess.
Right.
I suppose.
Weird.
We can figure it out after the
That's
fact.
a 19, 20, 21.
Easily,
for
absolutely hit. So, sort of flipping the switch. Instead of going down, you're going way up. And just, the syringe sort of unloads the entire dose into this poor bandit, who, as he's holding on the comms button, going, "They're here, they're here, they're here," you watch as his eyes sort of just super, super wide. And he grabs a hold of the back of your ear, maybe unintentionally, just in pure adrenaline, and pushes so hard into the edge of the tablet, trying to scream "they're here," that he unintentionally pushes it away. It sort of slides. You hear it cut off on your side. He's still got a hold of the side of your face and is about to skyrocket one way or another. Anything else out of Doc's turn?
Just gonna do my best to shove.
Just try to get off.
Am I within 5 feet?
Sure.
Because I can take my movement before or after, right?
Yep.
I attack. I'm going to try to grapple him.
Sure.
I'm going to tackle him to the ground
Sure.
while screaming, "We're supposed to be friends."
Go ahead, give me an attack roll. You're trying to hit KAC plus 8.
But I don't think I do. My grapple is
Just a normal attack roll.
11. No, I'm grappling him.
Yeah, so you're trying. It's an attack roll. You're trying to hit his KAC plus 8.
Yeah, but I have a whole ton of
Okay.
so I'm looking for my grapple. I
Sure.
have it separate. It's 14.
14. So unfortunately, it's not enough to grab a hold of him. As he has a hold of Doc's face, you go lunging
I'm
through
just
the
gonna
air
like push him a little bit.
to
We're
try to
supposed
grab
to
a
be
hold of him.
friends.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have too many like bits to grab onto aside from
Just
the
kind of
phalanges.
slides.
To the point that you actually end up like nearby, almost under him, trying to grab a hold of the Omnifoot, which is now beginning to spin up, and much like a tire in mud, getting a bit gunky
Okay.
as he's trying to get
I'm
away.
going to. I heard that they were in the storeroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
They was talking. Okay, so I'm going to try to bolt it down to the storeroom, and I'm going to pick up his tablet on my way by.
Certainly, so you go sort of scurrying by, grabbing the tablet, and you can make it to the door and sort of squeeze your way back through.
Okay.
Get out onto the catwalk proper before you run out of stuff to do this turn.
It would be a lot to try to. Yeah.
Okay. Bringing us to the red-skinned Kishti in the storeroom, who is up next, and Rue, you are on deck. They're good eventually. Seeing that you sort of come into the chamber, they instinctually bring up their sort of injection gun, level it at your direction, but the last moment they swing and point it into the rear end, trying to aim for the soft bits of their captain, and fire it in. You hear the sound of an injection going in, and you watch as Falconer sort of begins to limber up a little bit as they prepare to potentially fight. The second after they fire it, the small Akishti biohacker sort of secrets their gun away into their coat and begins to hightail it out of the storeroom. Maybe, perhaps, not so much of a fighter.
Classic biohacker.
Classic biohacker. Bringing us to you.
Okay. For class skills, when it refers to like increasing stuff at levels, that's by class level, yes? Not character level.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay.
That was a really.
Just a noise.
So someone
I
else.
am going to use my
Remember, I guess.
swift action
Okay.
to draw my semi-automatic pistol from my quick release sheath on my armor.
Okay.
And then I will. How far away am I from?
Like maybe 15 feet.
Okay, cool. So, and this is Falconer. So I will take
Be
a.
careful. Just be careful hitting that when you're moving around.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a shot at Falconer.
Okay.
With that.
It didn't come back.
Okay.
So this is representative of the room that Maku and I are in right now.
Yes.
We can barely see it.
It's pitch black and you can't see a thing.
I'm in the dark. Nobody's calling to me.
Yep.
I'm buying tickets now.
Just looking at your watch.
Yeah, I don't think Maku knows that
I'm nowhere near my allies. Yeah, it's a net one.
Ruana's there. So
Oh, no.
Great.
That's a pretty horrendous
Yeah.
miss. You still have movement. And can you
yeah,
check to see if the cable's unplugged? Somehow.
So I'm going
Yeah, it
to. Is there anywhere I could like back up around a corner?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you just
So
sort of
that's what I'll-
slink,
yeah.
throw yourself up against the wall, and try your best to
Yeah.
to get out of the way. There we go.
Can I on my comms like do my combat banter over
Yeah,
my comms?
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. The crew of the Vangst is at the receiving door.
What?
And on that note, it's actually your turn as well. You share initiative with Ruth.
All right. So where am I?
You are out in front right now,
okay.
so picture this being a building.
Yeah.
It's going to take you at least 60 feet of movement to get to the back door.
Doors are not open.
The front doors are open. You could plow right into the front of the building if you want to do. Absolutely. If you wanted to go around the alleys, it's about 60 feet.
60 feet.
probably be pretty conspicuous to run.
I
through the
can
middle of it.
double move and catch up to Rue if I do that, and so that is what I will do.
Certainly, as you just sort of notice as Thurgood sort of just hightails it around the corner.
Heaving a great sigh. Yeah, I'll come around the corner, and that leaves me only a swift action, I believe,
Yep.
with which I can do nothing. But I'll try to get to the cover that Rue is also in, if there's.
Certainly, you definitely watch as Thurgood just comes huffing around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sort of slams up against the wall, and you have a brief moment of combat banter if you want.
The hell is going on?
Beats me.
Oh boy. I'll flex my claws because that's all I have.
Yeah. Swing!
Yeah.
Ready to go. Bringing us to Falconer, who's actually on this turn. So outside in the alleyway, both of you hear a pretty distinct noise. It's a clink, and you watch it sort of landing, flying through the open door. Make sure I hit the square of AC 5. Flying through the open door, a familiar enough sight. A grenade, similar to the one that Maku has occasionally used, comes out, lands with a solid thud, sort of almost belying the weight that it actually has, before it explodes outwards with a horrendous sticky substance. I need both of you to please give me reflex saves.
Yes. Uh, 17?
That's a pass.
For just a second here. It's an 11 plus something.
11 plus something, you're probably okay. We'll find out in a second.
Reflex?
Yep.
Yeah, 16.
16. So both of you can easily enough sort of move. You more so have to sort of get out of the way as this sort of wave of webbing sort of casts out, hits all over the floor, sticks onto the walls as well. And a moment later, there's a pew 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 sort of stream of laser fire from a pistol type weapon comes shooting out as if they're trying aimlessly to hit you, assuming you're running around the corner.
As I came around the corner, you said the little lizard person was running away. Did I encounter them? on
No,
my
he
way
was
out?
running deeper into the building.
Deeper into the building. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So Falconer is at the very least trying to catch you on the outside and is unsure whether or not they did. Bringing us to that guy who you cannot see and that guy who you cannot see. Bringing us to Nival. A moment later, Thurgood has just disappeared around the corner. What do you want to do?
I was going to buy tickets and go through the front door, like straight through.
Sure, yeah.
One turn to buy tickets.
Yeah, that's what she's
Yeah.
going to do. Kind of, and it's not just her being dumb. It's strategically thinking, okay, they're up there, they're back there. I'm going to go this way in case they try to run out.
Certainly, yeah. So heading through the front door, we're going to sort of wibbly wobbly time a little bit to get you in through the front door to easily enough buy your tickets. 10 credits. Please, which pass hand, because nobody in the actual business proper is really aware what's going on yet. It's only been a couple of seconds. So ticket in hand, you have decent mid or center seats, enough to see the entire display, and you're sort of not ushered, but told where your seat will be, and that you're very early, but also understands that that's pretty typical of androids and SROs, because not like you have anything else to do.
Yeah. When no one's looking, I'm just going to like keep sneaking, trying to find the other side of the receiving area.
Is the
Certainly.
sword a problem?
No, because typically people can,
It's decorative.
as I said, people do in a lot of places have access to their equipment. It's only a few places you're not allowed, and it's
Right.
typically people who like are criminals themselves won't want you to have them. This place is not a problem. So as you go striding in, right now you can see that the drone display is actually rather fantastic. You're at the right sort of viewing angle as you walk in, and can see that they're in the process of making, like, you know, those really weird 3D geometric shapes that if you look at them from the wrong way, they follow you, like that dragon face kind of thing. They're essentially doing that, but with a suite of about a dozen drones that are milling all about. It's pretty fantastic, and looks like nothing's amiss.
Yeah, Nive will be more impressed by like the accuracy of programming and the synchronization that would have to occur than like the actual visuals itself.
You actually get the impression pretty quick. There's a lot of imperfections. It's probably not programmed.
Oh,
It might
no,
be
it's
might be
stupid.
live piloted.
No way.
Yes, way.
I don't believe it.
Well, you don't need to. Tash at the very bottom of the round. Now
Rightfully so.
completely just wired out of his brain. You've left, heading
He
off.
is kind of a gourd, isn't he? So.
It does look like a gourd.
Well, speaking of Gord, speaking of Doc, as he's sort of wired out, he wheels in place on his own little omni foot and starts to, like, almost spin as if he's trying to panic and figure out where to go. And as he does, he's inadvertently sort of swiping over your head and under your head. It's just the phalanges are flying about as he's trying to get any sort of base and try to figure out what he's doing before he abruptly stops as he basically tries to grab a hold of your face. And he's going to try to grapple you. And the same with the Maku, try to grapple him. What is your kinetic armor class?
15.
15. So he sort of latches those phalanges onto the side of your face, not in a way to actually grapple you, but enough of, like, you're still mobile and things, but enough to hold on to the side of your face as he starts to just scream into your face, more. That's all
Done.
Tash is going to do for the time being. Bringing us to the top of the round at 17, we have both Doc and Maku, and that person who's not here right now.
I'm going to give the man what he wants.
Sure. So just drive on in.
Full horse.
Fill him up. His eyes dilate to the point that you can't even see the whites anymore, and he's headed for a planet. Apostate. He's on the way in a roundabout kind of way. That's only one action. You have movement and swift actions and banter and whatever else you want to do.
I'm going to grab onto him.
Just grab a hold of him.
Yeah.
Sure, to go ahead and give me an attack roll. KC plus 8, trying to officially grapple him.
Oh no.
He's slippery, I think.
Uh,
Maybe literally.
sorry, for grapple? What's grappling?
It's just a melee attack.
Yeah. Okay, 11.
11. So, book. He is indeed a bit slippery and slimy, quite literally in this case, as you unfortunately don't manage to grab a hold of him, but he still has his phalanges on the side of your face, which he sort of loses at the time. Anything else out of you?
Stand
That's
nearby.
it. Maku.
Does the fourth floor, is it like open like an actual theater so you can see the floor?
Yeah, you can see all the way down to the
Is there
the
one
main
of those
stage.
ropes?
There absolutely is. Yeah, there could be. Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna run
Yeah.
to one of those ropes,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna attempt to like grab onto both, and
Yeah.
then just
Like,
You get-
go
So like the
down.
ones that have the sandbags. So
Yep.
like as soon as
Yeah, I'd say it's more like nylon cord than actual rope because it's the future, not the past. But you can easily enough find something to navigate your way down. I will say, as you're sort of stepping on the balcony of the catwalk, getting ready to head down, you can see Nigel walking down, sort of very nonchalantly,
Yeah, very calmly.
walking down one of the center aisles, looking.
I doubt I notice.
Sure, you grab a hold of the nylon ropes and can't let go. Give me a reflex save, please.
Reflex is 9.
9. Oof, that's not very good. So, as you are trying your best to sort of navigate your way down, you unfortunately, even despite having 6 hands, lose a little bit of your grip. Not enough to plummet the 4 floors down to the main, but enough to lose your grip, have to like grab onto just one rope and the counterweight completely goes the wrong way. So you start to fall very, very quickly. It gets even worse than that. However, the rope catches on a few things and you start to essentially swing outwards into the synchronized drone display that's in the process of going on. So from your point of view, you're just walking down. All you hear is that sound of drones hitting trees. But in fact, it's Maku on a rope swinging down the center, just catching several of the drones, which are now scattering down to the ground. And as you're sort of swinging through the air, you can see the drone pilots are like throwing off their goggles and things, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. As a member of the theater staff, essentially, as far as they're concerned, just came crashing down through their drone display. Thankfully, you managed to land on the ground unscathed, but on a pile of drones. About 3 of them have come crashing down, and they're big, like industrial-sized things that you've crashed down on top of. Anything else on Maku's turn?
No, as Maku's like going through the drones, he's gonna go, ooh, this is really pretty.
As you come crashing down.
Sorry.
Done. It's around this time, as you're sort of crashing into the big pile of drones, a door gets flung open near the rear of the stage, and the 2 of you notice as the little red Akishi comes running out, looking over their shoulder behind them into where the storeroom is, not yet aware of your two's existence. Until they burst out onto the stage, see that there is a commotion, being you, and sort of lock eyes with you for a second as you're like pulling yourself out of the drones, and then looks out and sees you as well, and has a moment of like panic of which way they should be trying to go, and they start to head along sort of the back of the stage, trying to go find a different exit. They're trying to run. They're maybe not a fighter. And we'll leave them at that. Bringing us to Rue and Thurgood.
You first.
Falconer's the Kasatha.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, okay. So I'm kind of like ducked back around the corner.
Yep.
Through bomb.
And you can see that the sticky web stuff is dissolving pretty quickly to the point that it is now inert and not going to be sticky anymore.
Okay. I'm going to kind of, from my position, take another shot at my
Certainly.
automatic pistol.
Yep, so just sort of peering your head around. Now you can all hear the retort of gunfire shooting from the back.
Oh, that's cocked. Okay. 12 and something, maybe. 16 to hit.
Oh, a 16
Just missed.
just misses. I'm
Darn
so sorry.
That's okay.
As you sort of poke your head around the corner, fire several shots in, you can see that they have ducked behind cover to the point that you've unfortunately not hit.
Okay. I am going to draw weapons and move action. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I will draw my I guess it's a survival knife I've got.
Mhm.
My knife in my other hand,
Okay.
so that I'm ready for melee combat as well. And that's gonna be that for now.
That's it. That's all. They're good.
I'm going to quip at the top of the round. You have us here. What's the game plan? You want us dead?
The game plan is to fix the camera.
Yep. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. That's all. Do I get a response?
Yes, you call it. You get us here and you want us dead. The answer you get back sort of through hissing tones, presumably from Falconer. Yeah, I want you fucking dead. You stole my ship.
We gave it back.
That does not absolve you of your crimes. Get in here, fight me like a real bear.
And hearing that, I will step out from behind cover and charge.
Hell yeah.
What's the weapon situation? So the
Yeah. So as
Two
you round
pistols.
as you round the corner, you can see that Falconer is just behind a sort of stack of props, essentially, with a pair of pistols in their sort of lower hands, and they have a knife, a survival tactical thingy, in their main hand. The Akishti, nowhere to be seen. The Panthera, the cat person, also nowhere to be seen. They have disappeared at some point in the intervening round.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to disarm.
Certainly.
The one of the pistols.
Okay.
And if you have a free hand, you can immediately. pick it up.
Absolutely.
So I need a gun.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna get a
You
gun.
running on in.
I can't even. That's a 9 total. I think they need a nat 1 on the. No, that just doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen.
So you go running in. You try with a big sweep to swat the weapon out of their hand, and well, Falconer's pretty quick. Sort of dodges backwards, retracts both the weapons. It says that's not going to happen, and sort of through the eyes, over the visor, a blink of almost mischief kicks in as he realizes how overmatched you might be. At least right now with no weapons. In his mind's
There's
eye.
nothing. The claws are out, but that's all I can do.
That's all you can do. Okay, bringing us to Falconer. They are going to take a full attack against Thurgood with their combat knife.
I do not have any armor on.
What's your it's an 18 plus a bunch of stuff?
Unarmored armor is 10.
10 plus your dexterity.
10 plus dex 13.
13. So that will definitely hit, and
Yep.
the second one will not hit, dealing a very respectable 6 points of slashing damage. As they sort of, you swipe the weapon, they instinctually pull back both their pistols as if they're going to holster them, but they can't due to action economy. They're still going to hold on to them.
Yep.
They take the knife and drive it down towards you. Enough that you move out of the way. Don't take any real damage, but probably get a close shave. That's on one of your arms.
All right.
And that'll be it for them, locked in combat with Thurgood. Bringing us to that guy. Nival, just before your turn, through the same door that you watch the Sakishti come running out, panic, and head this way, the Panthera emerges, the jaguar coloration, quite a bit obscured by the fact that they've thrown up a hood that's sort of made from their stationery. They've thrown up a hood obscuring the view ever so slightly. In their hand, they're holding a very obviously long rifle, meant for extremely long-range combat. And as they come running out, they see Maku on the floor, see you sort of in the distance, kind of maybe see their Akishti friend. It doesn't matter, because they produce from their belt essentially a Batman grapple hook gun, point it straight upwards into the rafters, it latches in somewhere, and they start to go up from where Maku came down. That'll be it for them, bringing us to Nival's turn.
I want to follow them.
Follow them up.
Yeah, I'm following them up.
So you got a double move, and are going to need to give me an athletics check to start the scaffolding process that Maku went through.
Key. Athletics?
Yes, please.
That is a 23.
There you go. So
With armor
are we
on.
all frozen?
Yeah, both cameras.
Seems like
Except for you.
Except for
No, we're good.
No.
Bottom camera's
You're just
frozen.
not
You guys
moving.
were just very still for a minute.
Yes.
My goodness, what is up with this?
When I'm editing, sometimes I'll be like, "Does it freeze?" And then someone will look. I'm like, we're very still when we're listening.
Yeah.
when we're focused.
So
Yeah.
as you start to sort of move with leaps and bounds, essentially grabbing whole levels of scaffolding, trying
Zippy
to
robot.
make your way up, you probably get about a third of the way up as you run, bound onto the stage, and jump up, hearing the drones begin to whir down. As you start to climb up, you can look up at this Panther figure who is, although pulling on the retractable rope, is trying their best to like line up a shot
Sure, man.
one-handed with a weapon. They can't even remotely do it, but they're getting ready to try to shoot you at the very least. Bringing us to Tash. Oh boy. So he is absolutely beside himself now, to the point that, depending on what I roll here, we'll see what happens to him. That is a 7. So Tash essentially begins to get overwhelmed by the cocktail that you've put in. They let go with the phalanges, sort of letting go of your face, and begin to sort of rock, like wheel backwards on their omnifoot until they begin to bump off stuff. And kind of like, almost like a pinball, they start to bounce around the room as quickly as they can before they eventually find their way to the gap exit that Maku has gone out, and basically get wedged into it, kind of like a basketball trying to fit through a space too small. The omnifoot gets a bit stuck, and they try their best to wheel in place, if not extending their head backwards like a weird dog trying to look at you. Let me out, 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 let me out. And that's it for him. And we get to Doc and Maku.
I'm gonna, as soon as I see the guy going up, I'm gonna be like, "Doc, there's a guy coming up. Be careful. He's got a big gun."
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what's he stuck in?
So in the door that like he had jammed, that
Right.
you guys had pushed open enough for the two of you to fit in, he's trying to get out with a giant calcified ball of foot and
Right.
can't fit.
How is it? Can I see how it's jammed now that I'm on this side?
Yeah, he just put a bunch of stuff in front of it,
All right.
like a bunch of props and things. You could easily, very easily
I'm
move
gonna
them.
haul it open for him.
Certainly. So you just sort of basically pull some of it open enough that he can wedge through. He just sort of almost like a, I don't know, something being squeezed, boom, goes shooting out onto the catwalk proper, disappearing from sight out onto the catwalk.
Okay. Can I see the panther?
Yeah, certainly. Looking out now, you can see on the way up, well over halfway, attached to this grappling hook thing, which is connected to the ceiling, moving their way up, aiming at the Nival you cannot see,
Okay.
heading up. Absolutely.
to see how something works here.
And Maku, you're on deck, and then Thurgood and Rue are coming up.
Do I want to do this?
Yes.
Do I want to do this?
The answer is
This
almost
direction
always
this guy's
yes.
going. This is the
Right.
direction the character's going. Okay. All right, I'm gonna load up. What I'm going to go with is the last of my serum.
Okay.
Right, my cocktail of psilocybins and
Sure.
every other hallucinogen known to man that he's ingested now.
Okay.
And I am going to shoot it at the panther.
Certainly.
And as I do that, I'm also I want to yell for Tash that the last of it's going in the panther. In the panther.
Sure. So go ahead and give me an attack roll.
18.
It's against his
Okay.
flat-footed AC because he's currently climbing via a rope. So you absolutely hit the poor panther who's
yes.
on the way up the rope. So just it begins to streak
That
on
would
in.
also be a 5 damage to the panther.
5 damage to the panther. Thank you.
And he's tripping.
Full dose.
He's about to be. So what are the actual mechanical things that the inhibitor does? Jeez, I feel like I'm drugged.
So we've just been going with a serum of a psychedelic.
Sure. Okay. So we'll just play it by ear.
Just like a mood psychedelic.
I love it.
Yeah.
See, as much as I love this game for the rules, sometimes you just want to pump people full of psychedelics.
As a pharmacologist, that's my job.
Exactly. I'm cool with it. Bringing us to Maku.
Can we assume that my drone followed me down?
Sure.
Its movement speed is actually more than mine anyway. Can I make it to the room where Rue and
Yeah, absolutely.
in one movement?
Yeah. Between getting up, sort of peeling yourself out of the drones, you could get right up to the door to be able to see into the room. Sure. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to get in,
Yep.
and I'm the only one there is
Is Falconer, who's
Falconer?
currently engaged in hand-to-hand combat with a giant bear.
I'm a tackle him.
So so with a single movement, you can get into the edge of the room. You need to get all the way into
Oh
the
yeah,
room
okay.
proper, yeah.
I'm going to get some grenades out of my
So
my
so
drone.
as you're like in the middle of trying to wrestle this guy, you just see in the distance, like standing in the doorway, rummaging through the drone.
who's just putting on his grenade belt.
It's
Oh, boy.
It's either gonna go well.
I'm gonna get
boy.
my machete out too.
Perfect. So Maku's gearing up for war in the doorway as you're getting ready to.
Not that I want to use it, but you can't hurt my friends.
It's true.
Did anyone play Halo? Anyone a Halo fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when the grunts would come running out with the grenades lit? That's what I'm picturing.
And then you shoot them and their head explodes in confetti. It's the best thing ever.
boy.
Bringing us to the biohacker, not ours, who successfully, it seems, makes their way out of line of sight, disappearing somewheres into the back works of the stage. We'll see what they do, if anything. Bringing us to Thurgood and Rue.
Go
Okay.
first.
Looking around the shipping room, what's in this room?
It's mostly just props, it seems
Just
like,
props.
and like large set pieces that have been
Mm-hmm.
brought in for a future show.
Any chance I see like any sort of alarm buttons or switches or
Give me a perception check real quick.
While she's doing that, did you take any damage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well,
17.
damage.
17.
Not direct
So you
But
can see there is like a control
jab
panel of
it?
sorts on the walls, which has a series of switches on it that might
Might be
control sort of stadium housing, but nothing that screams to you alarm.
Okay. Looking above where they are in combat, is there anything that could be, like fall down from above their heads?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, there's certainly a couple studio lights that are like set in, but they look like they're pretty
Pretty well anchored in
pretty
there. Okay.
well anchored. Yep.
All right. I'm gonna move into the room. Use my movement to move into the room.
Okay.
I'll probably stay like, what? How far from them am I right now?
About 15 feet from the door is where Thurgood is.
Okay, and I'm just tucked around the
Yep.
corner essentially. Okay, so I'm gonna move like just inside the door, so I'm probably still like 10 feet away from them.
Yep.
And I will take another shot with my
Pistola.
yeah.
Okay.
Nat 20.
There you go.
Hey, good God.
Okay,
Let's roll high. Let's roll
so
some damage.
yeah. So does it double the dice?
Yes, double the dice and double the modifier.
Oh, yes. Okay. 13 piercing damage.
Ouch. Whew. So as you sort of wheel around the corner, sort of line up the shot, trying not to shoot Thurgood in the back, as he so lovingly watched some other guy get blown to pieces earlier today, you manage to sort of find a spot past Thurgood to shoot at Falconer. And although it is largely deflected off their armor, it still impacts them enough to send them reeling a little bit, having done some meaningful damage.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm also going to say, has anyone seen the dwarf yet? Because they had another guy with them before.
Oh, right. The guy who was driving or something.
Yeah.
Boy.
The minor.
Yeah.
He's not even a criminal.
Just in case.
None of you have?
No.
Perfect.
No response.
No, that's fine. Just
Perfect. Bringing us to the one and only Falconer.
Thurgood.
Thurgood.
Yes.
See, you're right. Talking about not shooting you. Completely forgot about you.
Yeah. Let's try for a grapple. Everybody's doing it all the time. Ugh. No. 16.
Unfortunately, not enough. So as you're trying your
Doesn't
best
even hit AC.
to try to grab it,
Ugh.
you cannot find any purchase
That's
whatsoever.
my action. Do I retreat? Guarded step.
Sure.
I'm gonna take a guarded step.
Okay, so you just sort of
Backwards.
shuffle backwards out of the way,
And that's it.
and that's it. As you shuffle backwards a couple of steps, Falconer, who's looking at you, takes a guarded step themselves, 5 feet back further from you, sort of putting a little bit of a distance,
10 feet.
puts their tactical knife sort of in front of them in a defensive posture, but then the two bottom hands pop up and full attack pew, pew, with their laser pistols directly into you from just 10 feet away.
Yikes.
Does he have 3 guns or?
With 2
Just
guns,
two.
1
Two
knife,
guns.
and an extra hand.
Okay. I thought he had a bigger gun in his other hand.
Nope.
Oh, thank God.
What is your energy armor class?
Currently, do you still add dex to that?
Yes.
13.
That's a miss. And that is a 14.
Hit.
Ooh, this gun actually does more damage. Hey.
Oh, Maka's gonna die today.
So as he fires she fires the 2 pistols, they sort of snap in the air. That ozone immediately hits your nose, as one of them actually does sort of hit the side of your cheek, burn away a singe of fur, dealing 10 points of damage.
Yikes.
So an actual sizable amount.
We're still in stamina.
That is it for their turn, bringing us to that guy who you cannot... Oh, the sniper. Oh, boy. So, the sniper is on the way up. And from your point of view, and the catwalk, and your point of view going up the scaffolding, you both notice that they sort of lose their ability to hold their aim a little bit as they're trying their best to sink in on you. And when they get to the top of the at the end of their turn, essentially, they get up to the top of the grappling hook and just sort of hang there with one arm for like just too long, it seems, until the very last second they sort of snap out of it, reach out and grab a hold with their foot of the edge of the catwalk, just sort of pull themselves over. And you can definitely see that they're not 100% in control of their faculties. Whether or not they're actually reaching for a catwalk or a weird spongy undulating thing is really unknown. Only they know what's going on. But you can see they're struggling. And near the last moment, they manage to get themselves onto the catwalk proper and are like bracing with both hands, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, because there's still a couple of drones trying to land nearby and all this shenanigans is going on. They're having an absolute treat of a time. And that's entirely it for their turn. Bringing us to...
I think, weirdly enough, I think Nival would then just go back down. She's looking up and seeing, okay, well, he's not a threat. He's taken care of, so to speak. She's just going to stop, be like, and then start sliding back down.
Sure. Where to?
Continuing to the back room.
We're there? Okay. Yeah, so I'll say with a move, you could get sort of just right behind Maku, essentially. You sort of drop down, because you only made it a third of the way up. So you sort of do the slide down the ladder thing, run over, and with your one move, you can get behind Maku, who's in the process of rummaging through the drone, getting grenades and weapons. You still have actions and moves and things to do.
Except for not really. I'm going to take second movement,
Okay.
and I'm going to go like directly behind what's her face, Falconer.
Okay. So you sort of like just
Like
step-
just again like walking, just like breathing down the back of her neck.
Yeah, so you sort of step over Maku, or step over the drone and Maku, and then head into the back of the chamber and sort of creep up, not creep, but walk up behind Falconer, who definitely sees you coming and is starting to realize that they might be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see. And that will be it for you, bringing us to the top of the round. Maku, Duck.
Did Falconer see me too?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
They're accosted
You
on all
can
sides.
go
so.
first if you want.
Yeah.
Doc. I need to think for a second.
I already won.
Doc.
Doc.
she
Oh,
said.
Doc. Sorry.
Okay.
You got a drugged up panther about 15 feet away, sort of spacing out on a catwalk.
Yep. I'm gonna use my spark of ingenuity.
Oh, I forgot Tash. 1 second.
Oh right.
Oh.
Yeah, at the very,
I yelled that I was pumping
Yep.
Panther full of it.
At the very, very bottom of the round,
No, my
The
drugs.
last of it's in him.
Tash, you manage to like open it up and send him rocketing out. So he sort of flies out, hits the edge of the catwalk near the same time that his companion gets up. And there's a moment where he looks at his friend in the same way that Marty looks at the zebra in Madagascar. He transforms into a snake, you can almost imagine, as they go reaching out, trying to grab a hold of their own friend. Nope. So they're basically trying to slapstick their way, trying to grab a hold of this Panthera, trying to maybe pry the drugs out of them, but at the very least, inadvertently pulling like pouches of ammunition off, like pulling they have like a satchel with probably like a first aid kit in it, just goes spiraling out all over everywhere. Is not very effectual, but trying to get every last drop out of their good friend. Now it's your guys' turn.
Okay. I'm gonna use my spark of ingenuity.
Yep.
To combine two of my inhibitors.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a shot at the Panther
Sure.
for a -2 AC.
Mhm.
And I'm going to also reduce its DR by 5.
Sure. Go ahead. Give me the attack roll, please.
Nice.
19 plus 6.
Oh, yes, that'll absolutely hit. So as they're in the process of trying to fend off Tash and also drugged out of their mind,
And he takes 5 damage.
5 damage. You can watch as this sort of next little batch goes in. They start to both speed up and slow down at the same time. It's having a day, to say the least.
And I want to yell at Tash that it's in him. In him. In his blood.
Okay? He tries harder to get
Yep.
in, essentially.
As soon as we are.
Bringing us to
I'm
Maku.
going to. I'm trying to decide if I want to tackle him or one of his guns.
It's up to you.
Can I tackle a weapon?
Yeah, you can try to disarm them.
I think I'm going to tackle him.
Sure.
I'm just upset and I'm going to lunge at his face.
Okay.
Using my good dice. So don't
Here we go.
fail
I
me.
have faith, good dice.
Oh.
It wasn't good. 17.
17 against AC plus 8. Unfortunately, you go hurtling through the air. He's trying his best, or she's trying their best to fight off Thurgood as you come, just again, flying all 6 arms. With their one remaining hand, they manage to like put it in your face and sort of drive you and stop you from actually grabbing a hold. But you end up right beside them now, with the two of you essentially flanking with Thurgood.
Yep.
I'm going to kick them in the shins and be like, stop hurting my friends!
And it doesn't do any damage.
I know.
If anything, it might like bend a toenail backwards in a weird way.
Oh.
Yeah. As you
That's worse than damage.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
We
everybody.
broke him.
Sorry, everybody.
You imagine that way too
Oh.
real.
Oh, how did it happen?
I know what to do for horror games now. All right.
I can feel it in my ears.
So managed to not do all that much. Bringing us to Thurgood and Rilena.
Take it away. That's a session 0 mention. That's a line.
Talk about bad
How did it happen? Hiking.
Ooh.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, what you up to?
You have Falconer grappled right now?
No.
No.
We're 10 feet apart.
So
Both of us
everyone
failed.
is just like loose still.
Completely. Yeah, we don't have we have no edge here at all.
Everyone's real loose
Besides
upstairs,
numbers.
too.
Yeah.
Numbers, yeah.
Taking another shot.
Okay. Besides numbers and 2 drugged up people on the top floor, you're just not even here right now.
I think that's plus 4 is a 19 to hit.
A 19 does hit. So firing into the melee.
7 damage.
Ooh, that's
That's the most damage that gun can do. Piercing damage.
respectable. So as you fire the gun this time, it goes fires off several rounds. These ones hit the armor, but one of them actually manages to sort of actually impact a little bit, and Falconer buckles in place ever so slightly, but is still very much standing. Anything else to do on your turn?
No, I'm good where I am, thanks. That should be it.
Thurgood.
This is becoming a violent encounter, so Thurgood is going to, mostly for flavor charge, it doesn't really change anything. I still close 10 feet,
Yep.
and because I have a racial ability, I take no penalties to it,
Sure.
blah, 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 but charge and swing with all he's got, which is his claws.
Thunder Bear. Ha!
Thunder Bear. Please be good. Not bad. 20 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. This is a D3 now. Which is 3 plus 5, 8 slashing.
Whew.
Nice.
Lethal damage.
So as there just got shot, Maku tried to grab a hold, and you've decided to stop playing soft paws. You come running in and just with a big old swipe, essentially catch them in their shoulder as they try to throw an arm up to try to maybe stop this in any way, shape, or form. But you're a big old bear, so you essentially nearly drive them to the ground, or still standing, but very unhappy and dripping with blood from the wound now in their shoulder. Anything else to do out of Thurgood?
Technically, that was a full action.
Sure.
So no.
Okay, so bringing us to Falconer's turn. Now surrounded on all sides and very nearly grappled a couple times and clawed this time, sort of takes a moment to look around at all of you. And the insightful among you, those of you who are good reads of character, can sort of see that they're deciding whether or not they have a chance in really any of this. And they think they do.
What?
They're taking it. So they take a quick guarded step backwards, trying to get out of the way, or sort of deny flanking a little bit and move their way in towards a corner. They can't as of yet. But as they do, the person who hurt them the most, who's within reach, is Thurgood, and the knife flashes out to stab at you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just a single attack. That is not great. Actually, yes, it is. Never mind. That is a dirty 20.
Hits.
Ooh, dealing. Yep. Dealing near max damage. 9 points of slashing
There
damage.
goes my stamina.
Oof. Have I bit into hit points at all?
You have now.
Are you bleeding?
I've bitten to hit points. So
Yeah, so there is a shock of red on Thurgood's otherwise light-ish, sort of honeysuckle fur as he takes a step backwards and more drastically puts a hole in your shirt.
Oh no.
As she takes a step backwards and slashes. As she does, she looks directly at you, Thurgood, and sort of under the mechanical visor covering their mouth, sort of spits out, "You know, you had a chance, you know. We could have worked together. Not anymore." Bringing us to the super chugged out sniper.
precision shots.
So super drugged out Sniper and Tash are going to continue rustling over their own blood, it would seem. But the Panthera has the upper hand in actual combat skills, it would seem. They managed to sort of stave off a little bit of the hallucinogenic, and maybe they think they're fighting a goblin, who knows. But they essentially are going to take a swing and a kick and a punt at poor Tash directly in front of them. As they do, they just haul off and soccer kick into the Omnifoot, which maybe hurts. It's a bit fleshy. Nevertheless, using the shove action, push Tash back a full 5 feet, sort of sliding, rocking, like one of those inflatable punchback things. Just moves backwards, looks at you. "What did you do to me?" And that's it for their turn. Bringing us to Nival.
So when she took a step, I was directly behind her. When she took a step, is she still within 5 feet of me?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Paper cutter.
So seeing her stab out, it's going to be like, wrong choice. She's going to try to like lop straight down in the arm that's sticking out.
Give her.
Ooh, not good. It's 14.
Oof, 14 will not hit, unfortunately.
Okay. And then I'm also going to interfere, so to speak. So I'm going to flavor text it as Nival kind of puts her body in between Thurgood and her a little bit, but what it means is Thurgood gets a +2 to their AC
Nice.
until the end of my next turn.
Beautiful.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. So you sort of interject using your giant headplate and your sword to try to sort of catch Falconer up a little bit if they should they try to swing again.
And that's it.
Fantastic. That's it. Bringing us to Tash. Oh my goodness, what's Tash doing? Oh boy. Okay. This is either going to go... Cam, can you roll me a d20, please? 8. So, Tash, being knocked backwards those few feet with his Omni foot, sort of builds up steam as best he can, rushes right back in towards his Panthera sniper friend, and unfortunately, essentially bounds off him a little bit. And what you just rolled for me was the sort of structural integrity of the catwalk they're standing on, and it's not great. Because as he gets sort of bounced off and sort of foot out into his face and sort of shoved a little bit, the entire catwalk begins to bow and bend a little bit under the fracas that's going on. Tash, how does a single foot creature lose its footing? But loses its footing a little bit, starts to slip and slide, and actually begins to like almost fall through the gap between the railing and the floor, to the point that at the very last second they manage to catch themselves with their little side head phalanges and wrap them around one of the poles and are now free hanging above the 4-story drop down to the floor below. The sniper, having successfully driven off their companion, looks at you and is starting to shake their head as if they're nearly clearing out of whatever sort of hallucinogenic you put on them, and are upset at you, to say the least, bringing us to you and Maku.
Do you need a minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
My drone,
Yep.
I'm assuming is where I was before, like right in the doorway. I'm gonna have him take a full attack against
Falconer.
Falconer. Yeah.
Okay, the little taser shooting out.
With his little laser pistols.
Is it a laser pistol, or you guys? Have a
Sorry,
taser?
it's a taser.
This might matter then. Do we round up or down?
I round up always.
Always round up.
Every game in all
Okay.
systems.
I would have done 2 more damage then.
Ooh, in that case, they're ditting. No, kidding.
Well, that was going to take a
What's is it a -4 to each?
Yes.
I have to get my stats here for my drone. I don't shoot with him very often.
Well, the last time you shot that, you killed a giant bug. So.
That's true. I didn't mean to actually kill it.
Well, technically you didn't kill it. Gravity did, but.
I'm gonna need to get Maku his own little taser. Okay, that one definitely doesn't hit. Neither of them do. Oh, wait, there is a +2 though. Just wait. That's range, right?
Yep.
So a 15.
No, unfortunately. So as you hear from the back of the room, just the little arcs of energy streak outwards. But unfortunately, given how much nonsense is happening around Falconer, do not find the target.
Okay.
You hit Nival and power her up.
Anything else to do in your turn?
No, I can't do anything else.
Duck.
Okay.
You have someone slowly coming into more coherence ahead of you.
Okay. I want to do something stupid.
Yeah.
I love it.
Stupid's
Okay.
fun.
So I got jump jets.
Sure. Yeah.
Good start. That's a good start.
I see this thing going.
Yeah.
How high up are we?
You are 4 stories, so like 50 odd feet.
Okay.
Ish.
I'm going to use my full move action.
Sure.
Light up the jump jets.
Yep.
And I am going to go straight into the panther.
Oh boy, okie dokie. Give me it's essentially a shove attempt. So we're going to do this as an attack roll,
Okay.
a melee attack roll, with some circumstantial bonuses behind the screens.
Right on. 17.
17. So with all that, given that they're sort of drunk, still trying to fight Tash, slightly unprepared to have you come hurtling literally through the air at them, you manage to full body check them in their upper torso and can drive them 5 feet in a direction, which in this case would be right over the edge.
Right over the edge.
Okay.
We're both going right over.
So, for anybody who can see, which I think is actually nobody, trying to think. Nope. So you hit the guy, go attack, like just go hurling over the edge. Tash, what it's worth.
Comes with us.
Yep. So as you go over the edge, you have jump jet, so you can manage to sort of orient yourself, but midway in the air. At the same time, those of you who are in a melee in the room just hear a pretty distinct thudding noise, and peering over your shoulder, you can see both both the Panthera and Tash have come thundering down, crashing into the floor below.
Yikes.
Can you please roll me 5d6?
Woohoo!
5d6.
You need some D6?
3. I need 2 more.
1
There we go.
and 2.
Perfect. We got a 1.
Average.
We got a 4. 6. We got a 4, 8. 14.
Good God.
That's you? Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so as they come thudding with a land, those of you who are at ground level immediately notice the Panthera sobers up real quick after falling a great deal, landing on their head, sort of crumpling in weird places. Tash oddly bounces, sort of like,
Ow, probably really painful.
yeah, a little
Straight
bit,
up his
but
spine.
he's right out to lunch anyway, so he's like, he's drugged out bouncing, not real bouncing, as he hits the ground.
Flapping the little flappers as he goes
Yeah.
down.
And sort of ends up like doing the weird thing where like he's rotating around himself this way as he slides out into the middle of the stage, sort of pinging off some of the destroyed drones. But you're still in the air, hovering above. And that's basically it for your turn, having successfully taken 2 people down with 1 stone in a roundabout kind of way. Bringing us to the Kishti's long gone. Thurgood and Rue.
Do you want to go first? You've been
You can if you know what you're doing.
No. To an extent. I'll just say, quip. Last chance, surrounded, bleeding out, not looking good.
This sort of combat bantery, you can see they're looking past everybody out into the main auditorium, trying to see if their companions are still alive, and seeing there is motion from the Panthera and Tash, who's sort of still wheeling in place, kind of coming in and out of sight. They brandish the weapon still in your face.
Alright. 1 melee attack.
Okay.
With the claws. Cam, what do you think?
Oh no.
Oh, that's, that sucks because I gotta say that's probably gotta be a reroll.
Is this
Is it
a
cocked?
It's either a crit or very much not.
Or 14.
yeah? As I reroll it, if there's any hesitation.
I want that 20.
Yeah.
I'd tear their throat out probably. That would be good. 16 to hit.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Just misses.
Oh no, they're
It was
flanked.
perfect.
They're flanked.
So that
So
does
that's a
hit.
+2.
That does
yeah.
hit.
Alright, so this is going to be
If they were flanked,
1d3
the flanking
plus
doesn't count
7.
for the range, does
Correct.
it?
It's only melee.
I was like, I wanted it.
D3 plus 2 plus 7 is 9.
9. Oh my goodness me.
I didn't realize how fucking good the claws were.
Yeah, they're not, I mean, they're always armed.
Yeah.
So as they're flanked and not giving up, it seems as if they're either willing to die or convinced they still have a chance. You manage to swing the claw this time, sort of driving into the abdomen, sort of finding some purchase this time and lifting her a little bit off the ground. But she sort of pushes off, lands with solid footing, and is still ready to fight. Anything else in your turn?
Respectful chuckle.
Okay, I'm gonna take another shot with the pistol. It seems to be doing okay this time. So
When it works.
yeah, well, it does most. It's hit more than it's hit more than it's missed this time.
That's really all you can ask for.
That's a 18 to hit,
And 18 will absolutely hit.
and that is 5 damage, piercing damage.
Oy, so, it would seem that Falconer is not only nearing a point of death or expiry, but maybe just hanging on due to whatever was injected moments before, giving them perhaps the ability to stave off lethal pain for just a moment. Because they are still alive, despite the fact that this particular shot has blown a decent-sized chunk out of their shoulder, probably rendering that arm nearly inoperable. But they're still alive. Anything else on your turn?
If I can see out the door and see that the other two have fallen.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my movement to try and start moving out of the room.
Like out toward into the main auditorium?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can easily enough get to the same door where Maku's drone is
Yeah, that's
currently standing. Bringing us to a falconer's turn. As she's like clinging on, it would seem, to the very near of death, she looks out past you, seeing where you're going, and sort of spits out with a little bit of anger, "Emil, take over. Get out. Tell the Minishki that they're coming. We're not done with these cognifiers yet." And then takes a swing at Thurgood with their knife. That is going to hit.
Does this circumstantial
Yep.
still applies?
So you get a.
I got a 19.
Yeah.
So that is 6 points of slashing damage
Right.
as they sort of throw the slash, trying their best to sort of take you out at the neck. And then they're going to move, and head for the door, provoking attacks of opportunity for anyone who's in reach with melee weapons, which would be you and you.
And me.
You have a machete? Yeah. And you.
That one.
Oh, no.
Did they got... I don't want to.
It's up to you.
12.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Everybody's swinging.
That's fine. You don't have to. If Maku
I'm
wouldn't.
trying to decide if Maku would. Like, are you really hurt?
Thurgood's bleeding, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's bleeding pretty good.
Visibly.
He's covered in other people's blood as well. I'm wearing a white shirt.
I want art of that. Thurgood just covered in gore.
Maku hit.
So a nat 20.
21.
That absolutely hits.
So sad.
I am sad.
With your machete.
Yeah.
All right, machete. Let's do some damage.
Am I the only one that hit?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. This is the first time I've actually... I'm gonna fucking cry so hard. Oh, no. If I actually... Oh, I wrote it in pencil. Okay. Three.
Just enough.
No, you're good.
Just
You're
under.
good.
Just under.
So as they're trying to swirl away, there's a swipe of a claws, a swing of a giant
Is there
sword.
anything added to that?
It should be your
probably.
class level.
My class level is added to it?
Yes, you're proficient with it.
Yeah. And
What
your
does that mean?
And your strength.
+3,
Yeah, and your strength.
I get my strength
Yeah.
which is a -1,
is minus.
but then
Okay.
+3.
+3.
Plus 3 is my
Your
level.
level.
Yeah.
That's a 5.
So it's a 5. So you missed as you were looking at your sheet. I told the camera how many hit points they had left.
Oh.
A 3 was not enough, but a 5 isn't.
A 5 is solid murder.
So, as Falconer tries to, as a ditch effort, try to hightail it out, Thurgood tries to go for the swing and the kill with their very effective claws. The trained soldier gladiator swings the two-handed sword, and yet it is the small knee-high Skittermander, which seems to catch them off guard. As you swing the machete up, sort of catching the inner thigh where there's a pretty known vital artery. Within an instant, you swing up and just comic levels of gore come spraying out. As Maku, you're coated, and unfortunately, maybe for you, not for them, Falconer drops down dead on the spot.
I instantly start crying.
Oh, God. We're still in initiative, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Bringing us to, woo, Yamil, the sniper. They are going to gather their composure as best they can, sort of claw themselves up, leave the rifle where it is, hearing their command from their captain, and then witnessing the brutal witnessing you slaying them, hides up and starts to run the same way you came down, heading as fast as they can out of the theater. Bringing us to Nibel.
So
Do I
upset.
want to chase this guy? No, Nival will go over to Maku and get down to Maku's level and be like, "It's all right.
It's not okay.
It will be all right. It was an accident." And
I
tried
didn't
to.
mean to kill him. I just wanted him to stop hurting Mr. Thurgood.
If you look at it this way, you did save Thurgood's life, and we did try to get her to stop.
But I didn't want to murder her. I just wanted her to stop.
You did not murder her. The vast majority of the damage that she took, I'm pretty sure, was someone else. And just kind of like scoop Maku up and go back over to Thurgood to see if he's doing all right.
We're out of initiative.
Not quite
No.
yet.
Yeah.
Because there's still Tash.
Yeah.
Just gonna abduct Tash.
No, Tash breaks out of his wild stupor at around this point. You hyped him up enough, but as you're sort of scooping Maku up and trying your best to console and seeing if Thurgood is still alive, Tash is sort of still wheeling in place on themselves as they do before they sort of spring upwards and look around, trying to figure out what's going on. They do look up to you, still hovering in the air, having yet to all the way return. I'll be back for more. I'll be back for more. I'll be back. And he's not moving. He's staying exactly where he is.
Can I yell back to him?
Absolutely.
That all that I had left is inside the panther.
And start to wheel off after their friend, but unfortunately they're not nearly as fast as the panther. They sort of skip off the edge of the stage, whack onto the ground, and start to head up the alleyway or the aisle after them. Bringing us to top of the round, which is both Doc and Maku.
I'm instantly gonna go attempt first aid.
Sure, yeah. I mean, with many fingers, you're trying your best to jam them into various holes that have been put, but it's kind of like the chocolate factory line thing.
Do you have a medicine kit?
They're
I really am gonna try.
absolutely. Go ahead and give me a medicine check if you would like.
Maybe it's gonna be like
Maybe.
a crit.
Could be.
Do you have good medicine? I'm just gonna yell. It's not.
So you're trying your best. You have between your 6 hands plenty of fingers to plug plenty of holes, but a fair amount of damage has been caused.
I got a 13.
13, yeah. Unfortunately, they're seemingly beyond the point.
Maku's just sobbing as he's trying to like wrap the wound. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd land and they look at it. They're gone. When you're that split open, then you're gone.
So it's my impression that no one's really giving
How
chase.
far down the aisle are they?
They're about 40 feet up the aisle. Is where the panther is.
Okay,
Okay.
Still technically your turn.
I'm gonna take a shot then.
Sure. So you've
Yep.
landed, see what's going on,
Landed.
wheel
Yep.
around, fire off a shot.
Yep. I gotta find a dice. 17 plus 6.
That'll hit. Oh. Oh no.
For 4.
Oh, okay.
I don't deal with a lot of damage.
Yeah, I got worried there for a second. So is there any inhibitors going onto that or just like
No,
damage?
he already had them.
Okay.
Yep.
So as he's sort of hightailing it away, he looks over his shoulder, sees you land, level the rifle, tries his best to dodge, but then as he's doing, looks down as Tash is coming wide-eyed after him, realizes he's still under the effects a little bit, and does not manage to dodge, getting hit sort of in the shoulder, stumbling as he's hightailing it up. Not dead, not stopped, still being chased by Tash.
Perfect.
Anything else in your turn?
No, he dropped his gun, right?
He dropped his gun on the stage, yep.
Cool, I'm collecting that.
Okay, just gonna grab a hold of that later on. Bringing us to
How long is the aisle, like, from the front to the door?
about like 75 feet or so. It's pretty lengthy.
And I'm, like, off to the side of that
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, you're like on the far side of it. Like if you imagine it, there's probably 20 or 30 feet of stage with a door.
Right, okay.
You're there, and then there's all the rest. They're probably like 70 feet from you now.
They are, or
Yeah,
the door?
they
Okay.
are.
I'm going to dash, so
Sure.
I'll double move.
'Kay.
So in their direction.
chasing
So
after them?
I'm still probably about 10 feet away
Yeah,
from
about
them.
10 feet. If
Yeah.
anything, you're like sort of trying your best to fight past Tash as he's,
Yeah.
he's sort of wheeling up the aisle. Okay, so you're chasing after? They're good.
Oh boy. I'm gonna try to wave Maku off of the body for a second. And I'm gonna try to hide it for the moment. Like, this is a bad situation to be in.
Maku
to
just
be
starts
clear.
crying even harder.
Oh my god. Yeah, well,
So, in a very Hitman-esque style
Yeah.
gameplay, there's all kinds of things. There's like
Yeah.
mannequins and
Set
costumes.
dressing everywhere.
yep, I'm going to
Dress
try
the
to
body
drag
up.
them into a large
Some
container
bushes.
and then very quickly rifle through what they have, and then we got to get out of
These
here
are wanted
quickly.
criminals.
That is a hard thing to explain. All right, this is a hell of a black mark on us from the free captains. I don't know.
You're not there for this conversation,
No,
anyways.
no.
You're
God,
ways away.
all right,
So
well, Thurgood
you just
is definitely vocalizing this because this is a bad situation to be in. I'm covered in blood. We need to get out of the theater district.
I the
Is it
only
less
one that's still in
conspicuous if
there?
I don't wear this shirt at all? I don't know. So Thurgood's hiding the body, ranting, looking for, I don't know, anything important.
yeah, certainly. I will give me a perception check. Actually,
Now,
stuff
are
that
you
you-
still in there at least? Okay.
18.
18. So between them, they have 2 Corona laser pistols that are easy to find. There are 2 survival knives, one of which stayed sheathed to give them an extra hand when they need it. There is a creddy stick thing, which has a undetermined amount of money on it, as well as, essentially, keys to a spaceship.
Oh no.
We already looted their ship.
Oh, God. Okay.
We could sell it though.
And that's it.
Okay.
That is all they have of no. And then their personal ID and a couple personal effects, pack smokes maybe.
I'll take the ID.
Sure. So, body stuffed in, sort of very haphazardly, things just pulled over top of it to try to cover it, and looted. What do you want to do? What's
I
your intent?
assume that's basically the rest of my turn.
Yep.
I'm just going to start moving.
Start hightailing it out the back door.
Getting the fuck out of there, yeah.
Okay, so that's you Falconer's dead. Let me cross them off.
So upset.
I'm sorry. Bringing us to the sniper, turning around to see you, chasing behind. You can see that they sort of are making a commitment to get out as best they can, and they sort of kick it into high gear. And you definitely have heard that Panthers have a bit more agility when they need to. They can sort of find an extra reserve to go a little bit farther and a little bit faster, and you pretty quickly realize you can outrun Tash.
Not
But
gonna catch
Yamil is
them.
going to be real hard pressed to catch as they sort of slam through
totally
the
do
door,
have a
shoulder
camera
pressed
later.
through. The halfling, who is the owner of this place, is starting to come back to find out what the commotion is, because this has all happened over just a couple of seconds. He gets nearly bowled over as the panther goes darting out into the street, slightly drugged, but trying to get away. Bringing us to Nival.
Yeah, Liva's going to stand there, look at one person crying, and the other person frantically cursing and having a mental breakdown, and just be like,
PTSD.
having emotion seems like a horrible burden.
Shut your mouth.
And start unclipping her cape to try to throw it over Thurgood's shoulder, so it's kind of hiding the awful mess that he is as they walk out,
Yeah.
and kind of offer a hand to Maku to come with them.
This
Okay,
bloody little
It's just
skinny
like offer a
That's
hand.
so fucking sad.
I just like
Oh,
grab them all.
God.
Offer a hand, see him do this, and be like,
6.
and then
There's 6 of them grabbing you.
yeah, pick him up again and start walking out.
So as Doc, you're grabbing the weapon.
Yep.
So basically, all of you guys are starting to empty out the rear of the place. I'm gathering, or can functionally drop out of initiative at around this point.
Yeah.
You guys are getting ready to head out the rear of the building. You are standing beside or very near to Tash still at this moment, who, as they come wheeling up the aisle, sort of bumps into you, looks up, a little bit like placated, as if they're not actually all that aggressive. You know, are you going to catch him for me? All the rest is in his blood.
How big is the banshee?
They're short. They're a little bit bigger than
Pretty
Maku.
small. And the halfling is where?
The halfling is currently like just about to enter the auditorium to see what's going on. Maybe like
Enter from where?
from like the back door, the entrance to the
the
auditorium.
main entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We won't be catching him for you, and I would. I'm just trying to think if I have any way to restrain him.
I mean, a lot of people have tried to grab him.
Yeah.
Put him in a sock. I suck.
Let him become the big bad evil guy.
I got like a rope, but I don't want to like sit there tying him up.
What would you tie up? You just goo on a
I
platform.
know. Well, how do you keep him from moving? Like the
could-
roll
put
the
him
ball.
Pick him up and flip him over.
Put a stint in his ball.
I mean, drugs have worked.
Yeah, drugs are the answer.
Okay.
Remember that, everyone. Drugs
You're
are
in the
the
room,
answer.
right?
It's the official policy of Multiclass Act.
It's not.
Doc, can we immobilize him somehow? I mean, he's an escaped con with a life sentence.
So you're still on the stage then. The three of you guys are moving out the back. You're
Yeah.
in your earshot.
Not really. I don't have anything that can, like, I don't have any paralytics or anything on me at this point.
Just tie a rope around his neck.
Around his neck?
Well, just like a leash, right? And walk out with him.
Maku starts crying more. I don't like this anymore.
You're
We're
not
the
in the
bad
room. You
guys.
didn't see this.
It is as you're deciding, as you two are having this conversation back and forth from the rear of the auditorium, standing in those front doors, as they sort of hiss shut. The halfling who's standing there produces a little remote from their pocket, clicks a button, and you hear the distinct noise of the giant marquee on the front shutting off. As he looks at you and looks at you,
Tree just swings down.
as he looks at the two of you, and I suppose Tash as well, you do know someone's going to have to clean all of this up, right? Locks the door behind him in a non-threatening way,
Yeah.
but locks the door behind him. And that is where we're actually going to end the session. Right there, having successfully driven away Tash and Co. somewhat.
Yeah.
Again,
Oh,
now
God.
with Tash in your companionship. So we'll see how that goes. And
All I'm trying to do is kill that.
you're trying, but he's
He's a high drug
They're
tolerance.
resilient.
he is.
So
Yeah.
sad.
He's going to be the big bad evil guy for sure.
Yeah.
So before we do my roundtable with everybody else here, I just want to say thanks everybody for coming out. We'll see you all in 2 more weeks' time when we're live, 1 more week time when the video on demand goes up. And hopefully in the next few months we're going to start another new series, which we're working very diligently on. Thank you all for coming out. And that's it for us.